And good morning, Ghana. And this is how we choose to welcome you to the Koko Digest Morning Show. My name is Annabelle Bevin Ejavia, and we are streaming on Go TV channel 184, our socials, YouTube and Facebook as well. You can get interactive with us. Well, today on the show, we are going to be talking about some of the realities we face as Ghanaians. You know, in the past few days, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has come to, tell us about the situation of landlords charging more than 6 months in advance for our rent. We are going to be taking a very close look. Are we paying as tenants because we want to secure a spot? We'll be having all this discussion on the show, so make sure you stay with us. Also, we will be celebrating creativity on the show. We are going to be talking about how the impact of visual art in our society now. For some time now, parents don't even want their children to go in that creative industry. Best reasons known to them. So we'll be discussing all this on the show. And also on the lifestyle segment, we will be talking about how entertainment has impacted our social life over the years. So you would like to stay with us, get interactive with us, share with us your comments, your thoughts, and your contributions. We would like to have our motivation for So I'd like to have our motivation for today. I don't know if it can be displayed on the screen whilst we take a look at it. So this is from Wangari Maathai, and it says that if you think you are too small to make a difference, you haven't spent a night with a mosquito. If you think you are too small to make a difference, then it means you haven't spent a night with a mosquito. So basically what this quote is trying to tell us is that the fact that you are small doesn't mean you cannot make the impact that you want to make. The impact that you want to make doesn't have anything to do with your status or your size. So make the move now. Don't wait till you grow bigger. You can start at your young age. You can create the kind of environment you want for yourself, the impact that you want to put in people's life. You can take that kind of responsibility now. Don't wait till you are bigger, or don't wait till you get to a certain level before you think you can make impact. And we having this and many other things we'll still be discussing on the show. So make sure you stay with us, and I'll be joined with my colleagues on the news review to talk about the issues we spoke about earlier. So make sure you stay with us. Yeah, welcome back to the show. And now it's time for our news review with my colleagues here in the studio. I have Benedict Nketia Kwatin, and I also have Peter Insia in the building. Peter, how are you doing? How's your weekend been?
I'm doing wonderfully well, up and grateful. I mean, the weekend was, very exciting, especially because of the Eid, celebration and all that. Right. I had fun, and the holidays too. I mean, 2 days to rest, in addition to the weekend.
I know, it was a banger. Yeah, you were having fun. Did you get any salamit?
Oh, not really. But then I'm hoping that next year. So I'm going to make more, friends.
Muslim friends.
More Muslim friends.
It's not only next year. We have the bigger one coming.
Oh, interesting.
Later in the year or middle in the year, like that.
But today you also dressed like...
Yes, I'm still in the Eid mood, celebrating with our dear Muslim brothers as well. Benedict, Nketia, it's been a while we saw you on the show. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing very well. We miss you, actually.
Really?
What did you bring to us?
Oh, I mean, it's all good. It's all good. I brought glad tidings from our colleague Muslims out there.
Did you get any salamit?
No, unfortunately, I don't have any Muslim friends.
Why haven't you people make friends with our dear Muslims? Like by now, we are,
We used to. I used to have friends as such, but then growing up, I don't know. I don't know what happened.
You don't see them again.
Yes, I don't even remember what happened, but then, nah.
Well, I wanted to get meat, and you see, from last week, you saw how my dressing was. I was dressing like them, hoping that I will get salamit, but unfortunately, it didn't even happen. So,
but were they aware of your dressing? Did they approve of it?
Oh, yeah, approved.
But you see, okay, let me ask you this question. I don't know whether you fasted. Did you join the fast?
So you see, when we heard February that the Muslims were about to start their fast, there's this time around like February day, late February, middle February day. Some of us wanted to fast with them in the excuse of us checking our diet and everything, but some of us stopped.
So
in the middle.
For me, I accepted my fate because there's a saying that you cannot reap where you did not sow. I mean, are they fast with them? So I don't expect to enjoy with them.
Peter. Oh yeah. So we are going to have our word of the day, and says that serendipity. It is something when something good happens unexpectedly. When something good happens unexpectedly, we are going to leave it to Peter to take us through.
So, like you explained, when something good happens to you, by chance, not by plan.
Right.
So, let's say you happen to be at this meeting where you were not supposed to be, you were not invited, but you happen to, you find yourself there, and then that meeting led to a great connection. That's where you discovered, good ideas, something that helped you propel you to another level. So it means that, something happening to you by chance. It's not something that you plan for yourself. So basically, that's what serendipity means.
Right.
You find yourself in a place where you didn't even plan. And then that place that you found yourself actually brought, good luck. You were able to connect with big people and all that. Imagine, finding yourself in the midst of these business moguls you have here in Ghana. Sometimes you sit down and you be like, I don't have any connection with these people. How am I going to get through them? Then by chance, maybe you met your boss and you standing by the roadside, you saw this beautiful car coming. The person got to you, wind down, offered to give you a lift. And then whilst in the car, you got connected with these business moguls. It wasn't planned. It happened by chance. And so that's what we mean by serendipity.
So Peter has said it all. Now, Benedict, do you have anything to say?
Yes. So, I don't know if you've heard about this, but then some people, they call one of the attributes of God is God of serendipity. Yes. So we take inspiration from the fact where, sometimes, like Peter rightly said, you don't expect certain things to happen, but then they just occur or they just happen. So sometimes Christians, most especially, when we are praying, sometimes when we are according praise to God, we are called to Him as a God of serendipity, because sometimes some things will happen to you in your life and you feel like, no, this is by chance. You don't really deserve it. You don't, not even really, you don't deserve it at all.
But it just happens.
You don't even have any plan towards it, but then it has happened. So I think this is something that we can also take cue from. The word serendipity was actually coined by Horace Walpole in 1754. It was suggested by the Three Princes of Serendip. It was a title of a fairy tale in which the heroes were always making discoveries by accident and sagacity of things they were not in quest of. So they were actually, making discoveries, getting things they were actually by accident, or it was just by chance, things they didn't really plan of, and then they were just chancing upon it. It was actually a fairy tale until the word was adapted into the English dictionary, and then now we have serendipity.
Right. Thank you so much, Benedict and Clement. Now we'll have to take some weather reports from Peter Nsia.
Yes, so today, without the weather, it's very imperative you get to know how the weather is going to be like today. And then it will interest you to know that yesterday was actually World Meteorological Day, and then it was celebrated across, and the hard work of Ghana Meteorological Agency was actually recognized. And so together with, those up there, they celebrated the World Meteorological Day with the Ghana Meteorological Agency. And so like you rightly said, it's time for the weather forecast, and it should be on your screen by now. Today we have some different colors. So with today, the three maps, the middle one, you're seeing a yellow color, which of course it means that be aware. And so let's take a look at what is going to happen today. So mostly cloudy amidst early morning mist are expected over the southern half of the country this morning. However, a moderate rainstorm observed along the coast of Benin is expected to move westward and cast cloudiness with the likelihood of thunderstorms or rain over the coast and parts of the middle sector from late morning into the afternoon. Mostly sunny conditions will dominate the remaining sectors amid high temperatures over northern Ghana. Localized development of thunderstorms or rain are likely over the middle, transition and parts of the northern sector from late afternoon into the evening. And so let's take a look at the specifics. And so GMET is actually warning that, so the yellow color you're seeing in the middle of the map is actually a warning because of the thunderstorm that we'll be experiencing today. And so GMET is advising that we take note and act accordingly. So this morning, Aflao, Accra, Kaswa, Cape Coast, Takrady, Aflao, Accra and Kaswa, the weather is mostly cloudy this morning. And for Cape Coast, Takrady, Axim, through to Kintampo, Gosu and Sunyani, the weather is very misty. It's misty today, which actually affects visibility. And so GMET advises that drivers, early commuters should make good use of their headlights and reduce their speed. And for the northern region, the people of Tamale, Yendi, and Bole Damango this morning should expect partly cloudy weather. But for Boligatanga, Neregu, and Wa, they should also expect few clouds this morning. And as the day progresses into the evening, the people of Accra, Aflao, Kaswa, Cape Coast, Takrady, Axim, Ho, and Koforidua should expect some showers of rain. That is, there's a 40% chance of rain this afternoon in the places I mentioned. And then when you go to Kumasi and Obuasi, they should also expect sunny periods this afternoon. Takwa, there's 30% of rain this afternoon. And then when you go to Goso, Sunyani, Techiman, they should expect sunny periods. So the weather will be very hot. And then from the people of Yendi, Tamale, and Bole, that is the northern sector, this afternoon it is going to be hot and sunny with the temperature ranging from 40 to 42 degrees Celsius. And so GMET advises that people there should reduce their exposure to the sun. Then fast forward to the evening, the people of Aflao, Accra, Kaswa, Cape Coast should expect mostly cloudy weather with a very high temperature of 30 to 32 degrees Celsius. But the people of Sakra, the Axim, Koforidia, that's the coastal area, should also expect 40% of showers or rain. And then the people of Kitikrachi, Kintampo, Sunyani, Techiman should also expect, showers of rain. And the chances of it raining, they getting showers is 40%. And then when you go to Bole, there's also a 30% chance of rain. And then Boligatanga, Nereluguwa, it is going to be mostly cloudy with some few clouds as well. And so, Bevelyn, this is how the weather is going to look like across the country. And the state of the sea today is rough. I know per our traditions, Tuesdays people do not actually go for fishing. But then the state of the sea is rough today.
Thank you so much, Peter. And like you heard Peter rightfully say, if you're a foreigner and you came to the country purposely for, tourism's sake, please avoid the sea on Tuesdays. Right. So, Peter, we are going to be delving right into, the art industry. Over the weekend, we saw how the visual art students, particularly in the Ashanti region, were given the opportunity by the Ashanti Regional Minister, Mr. Honorable Mr. Frank Amakohene, gave them the opportunity to, paint the streets during the Kumasi Street Festival. And I think it's a very good initiative. What do you think?
Yeah, like you rightly said, it is laudable, in as much as this is not the first time we are seeing, art and paintings on our street, especially Accra and Kumasi. I think this time around it's different and it's laudable because, one, we are in the Ghana month, we are still celebrating Ghana. And then some of the inscriptions, the art we see on the walls are actually talking about our history, our story, our heritage as Ghana. And so also what makes it outstanding this time around is the fact that these are students. These are students that have been given the opportunity to exhibit their talents, to speak through art. And that is very laudable. Gone are the days when we see that this kind of contract is given to people with huge sums of money. And at the end of the day, we don't see, what we actually expect to see. But this time around, Dr. Amwakwihine giving the opportunity to kids, students, to actually exhibit their talent by, writing our stories, our rich heritage on the streets of Accra, of Kumasi is a very laudable thing, and we should encourage more of this. It gives the students the opportunity, and then it makes them feel that they are being recognized. Gone are the days when people say, Charlie, visual arts, you're going to learn visual art for what purpose? But this example, this actually goes a long way to tell, student parents that visual art is not just about, painting and drawing something that, people do not really understand, but then they stand the opportunity to adapt to the contribution of the country. Like you rightly said in the motivational quotes, that it is no, you are not too small to make, something like that.
The impact.
Impact. And he made reference to, living with a mosquito.
Yeah,
I understand. So it doesn't matter when it comes to contributing to national development. It doesn't matter the little things you do. So if it is painting, you are in the long run helping to develop the country at large. And so what I would say is that it is a laudable, thing that he did, and he's actually encouraging people to do more.
Right. Thank you so much, Kojo and Sia. Great contribution. Now let's come to Benedict Nketia Kwatin. Benedict, what do you make of art when we talk about the art industry? What do you think about it in general?
Yes. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think the art industry is one of the biggest industries when it comes to tourism of a country. But then unfortunately, in our side of the world, we don't really appreciate the value the art industry lays or the impact it has on our economy or as a country when it comes to tourism especially. Ghana tourism is one of the means where we actually sell ourselves out there to the world. And, most of the foreigners, when they come down to Ghana, they want to see the things that we have, the things that we've heard about Ghana. They've seen stuff that is going on in movies, in pictures. They've heard things, they've seen things on the internet, so they want to actually see what we have. When you come to Ghana, most of the time they are, you find them in Accra here, around the seashore, around Osu, Labadi, where we have these ancient buildings, and then most of the buildings here have these murals, these pictures, these drawings, these arts, and all that. And I think as a country, we need to, explore that part of, our citizens. We have very talented people out there. I've witnessed myself a live-in drawing, a live-in art, where someone just did a painting. I was seated there myself with a few people, and he just painted the Big Six just right in front of us in less than 2 hours. He did that just off head. And you can tell that these people are actually talented. And then if we want to, sell the country well, sell the country out there, we can use these kind of paintings to, generate revenue for the country. I'm just hoping that this initiative that's been taken by the Honorable Minister will be uploaded and then will be held and then exposed to more people out there. One thing that, when I was watching the videos, one thing that came into my mind was during WASI, you find these students painting as part of their final exams, painting on cardboard or painting on canvas and all that. And these canvases are kept in their art studio. My school, example, these canvases, when you go to the visual arts departments, these canvases are kept in the art studio. You find a lot which speaks so much volumes. When you go out there, there's an article I read about art, about rich people. The rich people keeps on getting rich, and then you realize you'll be asking what is going on. And one thing you find them doing is they're always buying arts. Have you wondered? Have you thought about why are these people always buying these kind of stuff? If they're not buying sculptures, they're buying things that are done by sand. They use sand to sculpt something. They will buy it. Millions of dollars. They will buy art paintings. Millions of dollars. They will buy statues. They will buy all these things. Just because there is value in it. These images, these, things that have been brought up by people have meanings to it. They explain a certain narrative. And then these rich people buy them. They sell it out there. They sell the idea out there. And you realize that they even bought it lesser than the idea you are selling it. And the next time you are reselling these same during auctions, they are higher. So you ask yourself, what is going on? Why are these rich people buying all these things? And you realize, no, there is actually value in art. So I'm just urging the Ministry of Arts, the Creative Arts, and then of course the minister, and then whoever is out there hearing us, that we should actually invest in this. Our students during their final years, instead of making them paint on canvases and all that, there are a lot of streets out there. I think the Pukwasi interchange is done now, and there are a lot of walls over there. We can send our final year students to the interchange. Let them paint our art. Let them draw things about the country. There are lots of things. During this month, we learned about the women, the unsung heroes. We learned about a lot of things that we ourselves, we don't even know until you research. Let us use this opportunity to tell our stories on the streets. You will find people amazed going out there watching what is going on, and they'll be learning. They'll be wondering, who is this person? Let me go home and research about this person. And then we'll find people making money out of this, and then they'll help boost the economy of Ghana.
Right. Personally, I think, Peter, before you come in, Bennett has spoken. He has actually taken words out of my mouth and said everything. But then I feel like with this current, happening about, the visual arts students and everything, I think it's high time. Don't you think it's high time, we stop limiting students to just, examinations and marks, and that is it. After all, a student will sit somewhere and say, I'm doing it for my exams.
Yeah.
You get it? At the end of the day, it just ends there. But I feel like this initiative has created a platform for, the people outside what they are doing to appreciate them more. Because this is the streets of Kumasi we are talking about. Well, we spoke about the Ashanti, some part of Ashanti Kingdom somewhere last week with the Bono people and everything. Ashanti Kingdom is not, a small... it's not a small tribe. It's not a small tribe at all. So I'm just thinking about the recognition this initiative has given to these visual arts students. And I just hope that the government will not just limit it to just the Ashanti visual arts students. I saw schools like Efijase, like a lot of schools, KSTS and the rest. They shouldn't just limit it to just, visual arts students in the Ashanti region. They should, expand it to other regions as well. Even if possible, they should even create the platform or channel or even as a competition, just like the other courses that we do, national science and math quiz. There should be a creative, competition, something like that, so people can be able to, express themselves through art. And I feel like art is a very, significant thing, especially in this modern times, because that is the only way we get to preserve our culture. And if you look at the video that was displayed, I don't know if it can be displayed again, but then most of the paintings were depicting their culture, their identity. It was talking about the signs that we spoke last week, the Jinyami symbol, the Sankofa, like those kind of things. So I feel like they were, expressing themselves or their culture, their heritage through this act. So if the government can, do something about it. You were come to say something, Peter.
Yes. So actually, before what I wanted to say, you made mention of a salient point, and that has been in terms of we're limiting our educational system to theory. That has been our problem in this country.
Exactly.
We go to school from basic level to the university level, and all that we do is theory. They bombard us with theories, and we don't get to practice the
world doesn't even get to know what exactly we are doing in our schools.
And so it has been a problem. And so I like it when you made mention of the fact that going forward, students should be given the opportunity to actually practice what they learn, and it's going to help very well. And now, when Benedict was speaking, something actually came in mind. Apart from the beautification of it, we can also learn so much or get so much from it, to the fact that people are attracted by what they see rather than listening, preaching
the visuals.
When we talk about sanitation, we shouldn't litter our places and all that. And so when we see some of these arts, some of these paintings on our walls, so once if it's about sanitation, keep your place clean. Once you see it, you know that, no, this place, I'm not supposed to do this. Exactly. And then the symbols that you spoke about, when we get to understand our symbols, like you rightly said, over the month, we've been talking about our symbols and the wisdom behind these symbols and what have you. So when you see them, it will actually guide your activities as a citizen. Even if you're a foreigner and you see those arts, you'll be curious, okay, this place, you're not supposed to litter here. If we are tired of, communicating to the people, in terms of health, we can do the same. We get particular arts which actually speak to the people directly in terms of preventions or some measures you have to take. And so, like you rightly said, going forward, it should be something that we take seriously and shouldn't end there at Kumasi, like you rightly said.
In fact, I think it's high time, the government and the world should, stop treating young people as just future leaders. I think it's high time we treat the young people as sole contributors to development in our society, because we keep saying they are future leaders, we are the future leaders of tomorrow. What happens if you don't give us the mentorship that we need? You don't give us, you don't empower us to be contributors to the society. But you keep saying that, yes, they are future leaders. We should sit and then fold our arms. No, it will not happen. We being future leaders will not happen overnight. Definitely, we have to be contributors of the society. So, Peter, let me come to Benedict. Can this kind of exposure help students, build career? But this kind of initiative that has been be shown to us, can it give them future careers as time goes on?
So this kind of reasoning, where we want to know if it can help build the students' careers, I think it's partially valid. It is not complete; it's partially valid. And I say this because this is more like exposure, but it is not sufficient. It's not sufficient in the sense that painting on the streets is just an exposure to what one can do. Yes, you can take it as a full-time job. We're in this country where someone hired someone to paint on just in Accra on the roads for a wholesome amount of money and all that. It became a whole kind of
and as the way you go to social media like this, the way people were bashing like the previous government. I'm sure you heard the story like this.
Yes.
Someone was awarded millions of dollars.
Yes,
and
to
then painted,
just do painting. I mean, I think if these kind of opportunities are given to people, students, let us not exploit
graduates, the visual arts industry.
Let us not exploit them by saying they are students, they are graduates, they just came out from school or something, so we should let them paint for free. We should find, this is more like someone's work.
Yeah.
Let us grant them the opportunity to do things like this.
But somebody said they gave them mashke to drink.
Mashke. I think Pia Stadium also to give a certain students 1,000 cedis for painting the president of Ghana, John Mahama. I think it was just to encourage them to, do what they are doing, but it wasn't fully done. I think if he's going to encourage the students, he should encourage everybody, not just a certain section of the school that is doing what he prefers. All the same, I think we should focus more on the ecosystem development of the arts industry, not just the exposure. Let us put structures in place. Let us have, let us organize, like you said, let us organize competitions. Let us open the room. Let's have an open showroom where we have students, doing the things they love doing. There are industries out there in the world that are ready to harvest these talents of our students. Let us give them the opportunity to do what they do. Let us create a structure where you know that, okay, from here you have a manager or you have a system that you can follow that will actually build you. These students are excited about what they are doing. But in my opinion, I feel like we are exploiting them because they are students. They are exploiting their talents. Let us find reason to what they are doing. Let us reward them. I started by saying that during the WASI examinations, we could use this as a test for them. Whatever you do, you'll be marked according to it. Now, if I see that I have been marked very well because of what I painted, I feel like, okay, no, this is good. Let me hint on it. Let me hit on it. Let me develop it. I'm hoping it will take me somewhere. Most of our visual students nowadays are nowhere to be found.
Most of them are into graphic designing.
Yes.
And the art industry is very broad.
It's broad.
Coming to talk about the performing arts, you have the visual arts on its own, and also has to do with like fashion as another part.
Yes, a lot of my colleagues who went into visual arts back in senior high school, I've seen most of them into clothing and all that, and I think they are using their talents very well. Yes, because the kind of things they design, the designs they've come up with, you can tell that these gentlemen are actually doing very well. But then the limitations are too much. We are all limited to the fact that we have to paint on canvases. There are other parts of it, and right now AI is coming up so much that if you don't take care, the things that you can do, you can sit down and do. AI, artificial intelligence, will just do it in a matter of minutes, and it will take away, your daily bread. So,
and the fact that you're not even talking about visual arts like the most, because we talk about the performing arts, like the musicians, the dancers and all of that. But what happens to visual arts?
Those who are painting and all. I think we need to, like I'm saying, we need to develop an ecosystem. We have an institutional support where there's training, there is funding. We create galleries for them. We create digital platforms where these students are able to sell what they do. And I promise you, I've seen people who are just walking on the streets. They are tall. They just have the figures of being a model, and then you just spot them on the streets. You train them, and then they're out there. They are modeling for Vogue and then Paris Fashion Week and all that. So we can channel all this energy into visual arts too. Just one painting. You'll be surprised. The visual arts students out there, it's just one painting. Just do one thing at a time. Whenever you do it, sell it. Especially the process involved when Aisha Speed was coming to Ghana, we found people trying to draw him, trying to sell their painting and all that to him and all that. And it was in a way going to help, but then it was too impromptu. So this is the opportunity. We've created a spotlight on you visual arts students, those who are into painting. Right. Use this opportunity to sell what you have out, and I promise you, you become greater people, and then you'll be surprised that you started this way.
Kojo, do you think we are doing enough as a country to support young creatives in our country?
The answer will be absolutely no.
Because I'm kind of I happen to be somebody who likes creative art, okay? But growing up, I was discouraged because my mother would say that you want to do creative art, you want to do visual art. Well, after that, you come and sit in the house and then you don't get any job to do. That's because they don't trust our systems. They don't believe that visual art or creative art is going to put you in terms of job security, is going to secure you. So do you think we are doing good, or we are doing very well?
So my answer would be absolutely no, because why do I say that? If we have actually the structures in place to help these creative minds, we wouldn't have the number of youth who are actually looking for job. The unemployment rate in Ghana here wouldn't be as high as what we are seeing currently. So you see that, like Benedict rightly said, you walk on the streets, and even without having the technical eye, being an expert in that field, you see certain people and you feel these people are qualified to be in this industry.
They're doing well.
And so it is high time the Ministry of Tourism and other private stakeholders come together and be intentional about it, that this is what we want to do. We want to create jobs in this aspect of it, visual art and art. We want to create jobs there. What do we have to do? Get a structure where you gather these great minds, mentor them, give them, career paths and what have you. And so I would say that we are not doing well as a country in terms of, helping develop the creative minds in this country. And then to some extent, the youth do not actually stand any chance in terms of, governance and what have you. Like you rightly said, we are always told that we are the future of this country, but we are not given the basis. We are not allowed to contribute meaningfully, or we are not given the opportunity to be seen. We are always suppressed down there, telling us that we are the future. But we don't have anything to look up to. Right. We are just there. After education, what next? Like you rightly said, we go to school, learn theories, we come back, and then the knowledge that we were fed with in school, we don't even get the opportunity to help the country with it. We don't have, any opportunity right here. And so, like you rightly said, it shouldn't be a way that these kids or these young minds were just exploited. There should be, some form of scholarship for these people. Like you rightly said, it can be a challenge to be able to tap the best. There should be scholarship for these people. Like Benedict rightly said, financial reward, it's very imperative. Yeah. And that these people should be given career path. It should be something...
I not to cut you, but I feel like when people have the talent, okay, it helps them, because what's the whole point if you have the talent, you have the motivation? I feel like if you have the motivation and you have the talent, it will enable you to work efficiently, okay, as compared to you don't have interest or you don't have passion for certain thing. It's going to even not produce a good quality outcome.
So as I was saying, there should be career path. There should be, exchange programs for these people, because it is not just art. They are speaking, they are telling stories. And these stories that we are trying as much as possible to sell to the diaspora, they should be given like the opportunity to have exchange programs and, ownership and legacy. You understand? It's not that they just go and paint, and they have to be recognized. They have to be recognized. Sometimes some of these people should be given an exposure, maybe visiting the media to tell their stories. People are naturally talented to tell their stories and what are you. And I think that it will help boost their morale. So they will see that, no, there's urgency. This time around, what we are doing is not just, go to the street and just paint or do something. The state actually recognizes it. So I think we should put much effort into it, and we can make money, create jobs, employ people in that sector as well.
So because the thing is that the gap you find in the creative industry is that the opportunities are not there. There are talents, but the opportunities are not there. And Benedict, do you have any add-ons?
I think that is true. There are talents out there, but then the opportunities, the room to created for these people to do what they do, they love doing it. It's not out there. Like I was saying, so the acts painting and witness myself was done by an individual. He found his talent and he had the resources. Fortunately for him, his parents were supportive enough, and then they created a studio for him. So this studio, what he does is that also here, I'm around them. I'm very bad with the names, but then it's at also he has built a studio for himself where he once in a month he calls people to come and just witness what he does.
Have a feel of
yes, and then when you go there, you find if there are about 30 viewers there, you find only 5 blacks. The rest are white people.
So meaning we the individuals don't even appreciate what we have.
What we have. I've been there like 3 or 4 times, and then all the time I go there, it's just a few black people. Sometimes I'll stand there and be like, this is beautiful, this is nice, this is very interesting. Let's take the grown-ups aside. Well, how about the students in the arts industry, the visual arts department, those hoping to become people like this gentleman, those trying to those emulating or those studying how to paint and all that. There's an opportunity for you to make connections, learn from people with experience, because every time he's painting, there are people from all over the world. I've met people, I had to go back home to go and Google them, or immediately they are introduced, I just Google them whilst I'm TZ, they'll be like, oh, this is actually a big person out there from Italy, from France, from those European countries. Those European countries are much more interested in these arts. Yeah. We have some in USA and all that, streets painting and all. But when you want to talk about people who are really invested in painting and then arts, is the Europeans, the French people, the Italians, all those people and all that. And you Google someone like, oh, actually, this is actually a very prominent figure. And this is where an opportunity for our young talents to, tap into it, yeah. And then, what's the word? Just connect and then get to know people. But then we are not creating the opportunities for them. They don't even know what is going on around them. So I just feel like let's create avenues for these students.
Right.
Like I'm saying, what the Honorable Minister has done has created a spotlight. Yeah. On something that we were sleeping on. Yeah. All of us were sleeping on, the arts industry. But now, instead of going to pay millions of cedis or millions of dollars for someone to come and paint on our streets, we can invest it into these young talents. Let's build our studios. Let's create opportunities. Let's have structures in place for them. Students, when you're done with school and you want to go into this industry, come to this school, the School of Creative Arts. Come to this school, come and further your education. Come, let's create the avenues for you. Paint at this place, we'll pay you for this amount of money. I don't think we cannot cheat them.
So I think the problem here, or the gap, apart from the opportunities that are not there, I think the other one or the other gap happens to be with the structure. Okay, yes. There's no structure when it comes to
you don't have a structure.
That industry. There's no structure. Anybody can just wake up and say, I'm a visual artist, or I'm a painter, I'm a this. But what structures are in place? Let's take, for instance, doctors, teachers. They have organizations, they have associations, that holds them. But what happens to the art industry? I know they have the performing arts, like the musicians. They have Gamro, like those kind of organizations. But the visual artists, do we have anything like that? Personally, I haven't seen anything like that before.
So like Benedict said, this should be a wake-up call. So going forward, they should look into that and see that this is a potential, these are potential, and that we can generate revenue from it as a country, and it will help reduce the unemployment rate. But before I end, in the 2026 budget, government allocated 40 million to the creative arts sector. And so like Benedict said, if we did not know that an opportunity like this existed that we can actually make money from, it is a wake-up call. So our leaders should be up and doing. And if they need more money going forward, what will happen, the leadership will get to know that they need more money to support these young talents.
Because and let me add on that now the fact that there's the platform, like the digital platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and the rest, social media has made it possible for some of these young ones to, showcase their talent. Because, like you said, if not for the opportunity they had to paint on walls and other things, how would we have known that this is the talent they have? So I feel like some of the way they can also use to market or promote and then show the world what they got is just, put their work out there. They shouldn't, keep it with them. Do you have anything to say before you move on to the next?
I mean,
I think, like we've been saying back and forth, let us just, explore the arts industry, because it's actually going to help very well as a country. When we want to pump, if we want to pump money into this arts industry, let us let our leaders know what they can make out of the arts that we are doing. The students out there who are into visual arts. I like painting myself, but then at a very young age, like you said, our parents really understand.
I was even coming to say that because
what it meant.
I am now understanding the reason why our parents used to. Let me tell you a story. So when I was in my earlier days in JIJ, honestly, I wanted to do makeup. I wanted to be a makeup artist alongside what I did. But my mother was like, we are paying for your school fees for you to finish and then become a journalist, and then you are thinking about how to make money. But the thing is that is what will be pushing me somewhere. Ghana people don't do one jobs. Okay, you can multitask, and I was being questioned for the fact that I wanted to do something very creative.
You wouldn't blame them, because as we sit here. If you happen to give birth right now, there are certain career paths that you wouldn't allow your kids to follow because of what
I think that was a wayward, a backward thinking.
I feel like things are changing now.
But to be frank with you, there are certain career paths that you would not allow.
What career path wouldn't you allow your child to do?
Currently, I don't want to mention them, but
no.
you see, even after
SHS,
I'd wanted to pursue a different course, but then. My sisters and parents sat down and analyzed the whole thing, called friends and people in power, and be like, this is my younger brother, this is the course he wants to pursue from this school. Then they told, when you pursue this course, you end up you complete school and come and stay home, and your parents would.
What course was that? What course was that?
I don't think he doesn't need to mention it, but it is just because of where you find yourself. In the country, but you see,
it boils down to structures.
Yeah, the structures are not in place for some jobs.
Until those structures are developed, there are certain career paths that parents will continue to advise their workload to do.
I know, but you see,
but if you do that too, are we not,
you're sitting on people's talent.
Because imagine I didn't do Asmoding and I wasn't stubborn enough to pursue or go and learn that makeup. Do you think I'll be sitting here looking this dazzling?
So that's when the word of the day comes in, serendipity. Sometimes you get there, you find yourself in a place.
I think this arts industry thing, like I was saying, we need to explore it. We need to explore it, and we'll get there as a country. I'm saying, what matters most to me is the creation, building of art studios and all that. Shout out to my friend Eureka. She was the one that exposed me to this arts industry where we visited the studio in Osu. She took me to a studio in Osu, and then today I'm here talking about the importance of arts and all that. So I think let's create the avenues.
So I think now things are changing. Okay, you will not tell your child not to do creative arts. She will do it.
See, let me give a critical.
She will do what you wanted to be a doctor, right? No. She will be the doctor, and alongside she will still be the creative arts.
So, like I said, let me give a critical example. Gone are the days when, as a young boy, you wanted to play football. So those days, if you want to toe that path, you want to play football, you are seen as a notorious boy who don't want to learn.
Who wants to drop out of school.
Yes,
but who doesn't want to learn?
as you know, as time progresses, we've built the avenues, the structures. People have come to understand that there's cash in football.
Project Mbappe.
Yes, right now we have academies. Gone are the days.
So you have actually answered your question.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. Is that until we put those measures or those structures in place, nobody will advise
I'll
us.
come back to you, but then, guys, this is a very interesting conversation on the show. If you would like to hear your contributions, your comments as well to get participated in this. So, Peter, let's come back to you. You're saying something.
Yes. So the early people. See, when you go to the villages, we have talent, footballers. But those early days, there were no opportunities, avenues. The structures were not, put in place for them to progress from one stage to another. There was nothing like career coaching or that thing. So if you know how to play football, you stay in that village, play football, get old there. You see, some people actually focused on football without doing anything, and they knew that by hook or crook they were going to make it to the national team. Yeah. So those days, the only hope was to get to play the Premier League. And then the best place to be from the national team. And but before, if you are living in a village called, let's say, Badu in the Tyne district, before you even get to the district, before you get to Kumasi or Accra, it was very difficult. But right now that we have the structures and we've come to realize that actually there's money in football. Even if your son don't want to play football, you train him or her to become a footballer. So you see, there's now a demand.
Is that why FedEx has been training?
Yeah, there's now a demand. You understand? And so everybody wants his or her son to get into that field. But unlike those days, if you play football, you come back. If you don't stay home and pound fufu, you go and play, come back and chew the cassava. But currently, if your parents will be pampering you, now we have the structures, so it is now very attractive.
Right. That's for the football
and other
it
talents
also
as well.
boils down to like we being self-aware or we being knowledgeable and educated on certain fields. Because let's take it the fact that yes, the systems are not there, but you as a creative person, let's say you want to even go into music or even dance. Let's say you are not self-aware. You don't know the rules. You don't know the organizations. You don't know like everything you need to know concerning the music industry. You don't know about your intellectual property rights. You don't know about copyright. You don't know about all these things. How are you as an individual going to thrive in such an industry? So I think our parents also, in the other hand, has to be, educated. Okay, when it comes to some of these things. That way, as young talents or as kids, they'll be able to know that, oh yes, Peter is very good in drawing. What can I do as a parent to, nurture that kind of talent growing up? Where does he have to go? Is it school? Let me research. This particular school does creative art in visual. They major in visual arts. This particular one. So I think the parents also, have a role to play. Not just follow the norm. Oh, creative arts. It won't take you anywhere. How are you going to survive like your life? So it's
I think, and I want to add something to the parents' side. It's not all on the parents in the sense that for some of us, our parents, their level of education is quite low.
No, that's so, very true.
Yes, so sometimes you as a student, you find ways to convince your parents. Okay, you are in the creative arts industry, you are painting. Your parents do not fully support it because, according to them, growing up, they didn't really see the impact it made on anybody. That's what they will tell you. So they don't think you're going to be any. They are actually looking out for you. You might think they hate you for what you are doing, but they're actually looking out for you. That is because of their limited understanding to what you are doing. So sometimes you can find your teacher, you can find a prominent person or someone who is into that same industry who is doing very well. You can do research. There are phones around. You find a time, sit by your parents. Oh, mommy, daddy, this is what I've chosen to do. And it's just not out of the blue. I love to do this. I want to do this. And these are examples of people who have made it because of what they do. Sometimes the parents just need to understand what you are doing. It's understanding that helps. And then sometimes when you see that, when you get the understanding, you'll be surprised there were people who were who didn't support what you're doing will not come, and then they will support you fully, and then you find out that they're even sponsoring you in what you are doing. So I think it's also on us. It's not fully on our parents. We should also find ways and means to convince our parents. I
understand where you're coming from, but I was picking up from the points like, as a child, that yes, you're in school. Oh, okay, G1, you do have that. Kind of So you see, the parents also have a role to play. So if we educate, they don't know. We take it that they don't know. So there has to be, public platforms or even programs, educational programs. Some of these summits, mentorship programs, to educate the parents. They don't necessarily have to understand the English, but that's why we have our local, languages to break that kind of barrier. Speak to them in their local languages, explain to them the importance of creativity and all of that. I always use myself as an example because in another way, I don't want to mention some of the career patterns I chose as a kid, but then my mother, at a point, I, the individual, myself, I was self-aware that definitely I'm going to find myself in like a communication-related field. Okay. They were aware that I would do something like that. And now I'm here as a TV presenter. I was self-aware as a kid, probably because of the educational backgrounds I had back then. But like you said, Benedict said, it's not everybody that will have that kind of, advantage or opportunity. So the individual, to as you go, you have to be self-aware of what really you want to do. As equally, the parents also have a role to play in it.
I understand, but then I don't want us to go back and forth. Sometimes you don't get to choose your career path. Growing up as a toddler or a kid,
right,
you tend to fancy a whole lot. You want to become this, you want to become this, you want to become that. And at a point, it's your parents who would have to steady you and be like, my child possesses this kind of quality, my child possesses this kind of. So
I think she can
it's
do
diverse.
This.
But my last submission is that what are we, doing in this country? What are some of the things that we are doing that make, other professions, attractive? That every woman or every parent would want his or her ward to become a doctor, a police officer, a lawyer, a footballer, and other, careers that we know. Whatever we are doing to make that career path very attractive, we should invest same in other, career path as well, like we are talking about visual, so that parents would also find a reason to, encourage their wards to actually venture into, career paths like such.
Right. So, yeah, as Peter rightly said, this is a, wake-up call to all parents, all stakeholders involved in, the creative arts industry to make it, attractive. Let's make our arts and let's make our talents, let's make our passion more attractive so people can thrive in their various fields. And we'll move on to the next discussion. The issue of rent has come to play again. And a lot of people are talking about this. For His Excellency John Dramani Mahama last week said that landlords are not supposed to charge, above 6 months in advance. But it's different. You go out there and then these landlords are charging outrageous amounts. Some will even take as high as, imagine the rent is 2,000 a month. 2,000 a month and you're taking for 2 years. Landlord. This is serious.
This
is serious. This is serious. Because when you take the expenditure or cost of living in Accra alone, I'm speaking for the people in Accra because I am in Accra. the cost of living in Accra here, it's serious. Talk of rent, talk of transport, talk of even food to eat. It's not a joke. Honestly, it's not a joke. So I think the landlords have, to calm down. They should just be coming down for us. Peter, what do you have to say about this?
As we are preaching and we want as you said, we want landlords to come there. We also have a role to play as tenants. But before I come there, what the president said, can be found in the Rent Act 1963 at 220. First of all, I have a problem. Rent Act 1963.
Benedict has antidote.
Over 60 years.
Right.
This act is over 60 years. 1963 at 22. That is where the
60
president.
years.
Over 60 years. 1963.
Wait, and the art no when you
Landlords should not take more than 6 months' rent advance. So the issue is that, do tenants know this as their right? That is one thing. Do tenants know? And then secondly, if tenants know, are there available affordable housing? Now, when you check, statistics says that housing deficit is around 1.8 to 2 million. Housing deficit. So the demand is high, but the supply is what? Low. And so at times, for those who know their right, let me put it in that way, that landlords are not supposed to charge, advance, which is more than 6 months. Even if you go to report to the rent control department, sometimes you report for several times and no action is taken, and then you become fed up. And the fact that the place that you don't want to stay because you think the landlord is taking more, some people are there knocking at the door. They want to be there. So even if you are complaining because you're going to pay 1 year, somebody is ready to pay like 5 years because the person needs a place to stay. Also, there's this program that was launched in 2022, affordable, the rent control is under the Ministry of Works and Housing. And so this program, the National Rental Assistance Scheme, which of course I have a problem with it, and then as we continue, you find out. So this program was launched by Ghana government in 2022 under the Ministry of Works and Housing. It provides low-interest loans to eligible employed Ghanaians to pay multi-year rent advances up to 1 to 2 years directly to landlords. Let me repeat again. Under the Ministry of Works and Housing, provides low-interest loans to eligible employed Ghanaians. The underlying word is employed Ghanaian. So you are here and you are not in the formal sector and you are not employed. It means you don't stand a chance of benefiting from this one. And to pay multi-year rent advances up to 1 to 2 years, which actually contradicts the Rent Control Act, 1963 Act 220, which prohibits landlords to take advance more than 6 months. But here lies the case. Government is actually doing that. Now, before you qualify to apply, you have to pay 100 cedis non-refundable application fee. On top of this, the stress, how much are you earning? Also, the interest rate is 12%, an annual repayment interest rate of 12%, which of course it is too high. How much are you earning? Then now, there's another one that will shock you. There's a cap on this one, and the cap is 30% cap. 30%. So imagine as a young trader or nurse in Accra, and you're earning, 300 cedis a month. Now the rule says that your monthly rent must not be, more than the 30%. And so imagine you are earning 300 cedis a month. It means that the rent must be, 900 cedis or less to qualify for the scheme. And then we all know that to be able to get a neat place, a chamber and hall self-contained at a neat place.
Did you say chamber and hall self-contained? Single room self-contained.
Single room self-contained.
It just shows that he's not right. He doesn't even understand.
The minimum you can get it is like 1,500.
Let's say the least can be 800.
800.
Let's
which
put it
area?
like 800.
Which
800, you can get 800 around Labadi.
Yeah.
You know how Labadi environment is like.
Uh-huh.
It's just like you live in your bathroom. If you don't take care, you enter somebody's bedroom.
So that's why I made mention of. I'm not saying that those areas are not conducive, but I'm saying that like a conducive area, a place that
conducive, you should target like 2,000 or even 1,500.
And you are earning
1,800.
And you are earning 3,000 Ghana cedis. Do you qualify for this?
You actually don't.
You don't qualify. But this initiative was actually brought up to help, to ease the burden on the ordinary Ghanaian. First of all, they've taken those in the informal sector out. And then with those in the formal sector, you need to your salary, you need to hit like 4,000, 5K thereabout. So if you are earning less than that, it means that you don't qualify for this. You get it? And so some of these initiatives, I think it doesn't help those who actually need the help. Those who actually need the help, we are not like targeting them. The ordinary Ghanaian, we are not targeting them. You understand? So I think that going forward, I will propose that the rent department should be made an independent body. Currently, it's under the control of the Ministry of Works and Housing.
The government, yeah.
Yes, it should be made an authority so that it has the power to. You know, the president said that we have rent court and what have you.
Yeah.
But tell me,
I don't know if they have the video so that we can have a look at what the president said in the few days. We can speak to the issue. So yeah, we'll have it displayed shortly. But then, in as much as possible, we are also looking at some of these remedies to solve this issue. Yeah. The problem is the fault of is it the fault of the tenant or is the fault of the landlord? Because I happen to rent. I've been in Accra for approximately close to 6 years now. I've been renting. Yeah. 6 years now I've been renting in Accra. And see, there are some landlords, I don't know. You see there's something called negotiation. Yeah. It's not in their dictionary. It is not in their dictionary to get a landlord that listens or wants to, negotiate on the prices or even the months is an issue. And the video I saw last week trending about the president, making a point to the fact that some of these tenants don't know their rights. They know their rights, but the thing is that the room is not for you. Do you get it? You don't own the room. Mm-hmm. And the systems are not, structured in a way that you can call them together. You're going to call them together. Tomorrow, the landlord comes and tells you that my daughter from abroad is coming to stay in the room, so you should vacate the room. You expect me to go back to Kwando or Hogwe back. I cannot be traveling from Kwando and Hogwe to Accra, to and fro every day. Yeah. So
basically, it all boils down to the demand and supply. Demand is high. And we are having a housing deficit, 1.8 to 2 million 2 million housing.
And this Rent Act has been there 60 years. Ghana is how many years now? 69. 60 years. No structures has been put in place till now. This calls for,
No, let me just address something that we are missing here. Yeah. Now, when you look at the Rent Act, I've been trying to read it since yesterday, and there are lots of things I don't really understand. Maybe because I'm not really, in that field, the law field. But then there are some simple English that is here. I decided to put it's the core provisions of the Rent Act. So first of all, it is saying that advance rent is legally capped at 6 months. That's according to Rent Act 1963 at 220. So it's been amended. Yeah. Even though it's been in existence since 1963, it's been amended. That's why we have the 220. It says that it establishes a rent control department. That is another problem I have. And then the third point I gathered was that it provides mechanism for dispute resolution between landlords and tenants. And then lastly, it says it aims to prevent exploitation in the rental market. Now, as to whether the landlords are exploiting the law, I think we can argue it in the sense that if it is the law is economically outdated and it's misaligned with current market realities. Now, the thing is that what is happening on the field now? How much is cement? How much are building materials? How much does it cost for me as a landlord to maintain this house that you come and like? Now, the thing is that if I want to maintain a certain household, the utilities I have to pay, the amount of money I have to invest in the facilities will also influence how much I would want to charge.
See, now, if I'm not to cut you, but honestly, let's even take Ghanaian. I feel like some of the Ghanaians, market women, landlords, they're not being truthful. We can all attest to the fact that inflation is down. Okay, for some time now, it is down. But rent keeps increasing. Foodstuffs are still, at a higher cost.
This part
are
of
still at a higher cost. When you tell me the prices of, cement, the price of household building materials are. There are some of the houses that are even in bad shape, and even with the bad shape, they keep increasing their fees.
They keep increasing.
And then even so you made mention of the prices of cement. When it comes to, building and renting, it's a long-term investment. You don't expect to reap or, get the money within like 6 months after. It's a long-term investment. So if you are buying cement.
But what we have to look out is that landlords are they're not just breaking the rules. They're also responding to risk. To every activity, there are risk involved. You get it? Let us not all put the blame on landlords. I don't rent some way, somehow I rent. I don't rent in a way. But then I feel like I'm saying, they are responding to risk in the sense that if there are cases where you would come, we have private investors, private real estate out there. You see the houses they are building and what they are making out of their houses. You see a house that is being sold and the price is outrageous, but you can tell that this is actually on a private land, which automatically becomes yours. The building becomes yours. It's been fully furnished or partially or whatever it is. It is yours, and this is what you are going in for. Now, whether as to let's limit it to renting 6 months for you to pay and then live in. In the long run, in my opinion, I feel like paying in advance. Yes, the president has said this, and then the laws are saying this. But paying in advance, finding money to pay in advance, will help you as an individual. If you don't have it, going for something that is okay, that's something that your pockets can suffice. I think people sometimes overdo what's their strength. You want to go in for a housing that is really advanced. When you know that you are earning 3,000 cedis and you're paying rent for 2,000 cedis, come on. And this person is charging you this amount of money because of what he has done to the house. You can't tell me that you go to a house and then the rent you are paying for that house is not worth it.
So let me ask you this question, okay? You found a 2,000 house at Chado. 2,000 house. Let's say chamber and hall self-contained. 2,000 a month, 2,000.
Yeah.
And then the same 2,000. You've got. Let me say we'll come to the agents. Those people are another problem on its own.
Yes.
You are paying 2,000 at Chado. You've gotten another house at Labadi. See the environment. It's two different places. Yeah. The same Accra, 2,000. You yourself, if you see the environment and the two, which one would you go for?
Obviously, Chado.
You go for the Chado.
Yes.
So these are some of the issues. Okay, you realize you go to the Chado one, and then this landlord will come and tell you that we are doing some add-ons, like we are fixing. So this one, you're already in the soup already.
Then you have to pay more.
You
see, the thing is that
even with the one at Labadi, the landlord is also looking for ways to also take
exploit.
Money from
that's
you,
the thing. That's what I'm saying. That it's not all about what is happening. The landlords are also looking out for risk. You get me? They are paying property rights. They are catering for. When something is spoiled in the house, I don't think you want to fix it yourself. It's only you only do it when
experiences. Please, I'm speaking for myself. Per my experiences, please. I don't know for you, but when it comes to the coastal areas, which is the Labadi, Chado, like those kind of people, that one that you do it, you the tenant, you will do it because you will call the landlord so many times and then the person will not even pick.
So is it
the problem is that you've rented a house, they've given you the room. Any other cost that comes with is
the problem that comes with we tenants. I've rented before, so the problem that comes with we tenants and then our landlords is that there is no formal agreement, there is no documentation. Now, when I rented, I had a documentation.
I feel like like we should let's take a look at the video from a few days ago from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. I'm calling for the video. Let's take a look at some of the things he said about the 6 months rent and people we are supposed to go to. He made mention of the courts,
the rent courts,
and others. Let's listen to what he said so we can speak to the issue.
Take housing and sanitation. Housing is a major problem. And for households, it is consuming the income of households. We need to have a national housing dialogue and decide how, between the private sector, government, and labor, we can come together and come out with a social housing policy to make sure that we provide affordable housing for workers to purchase on mortgage or to be able to rent at a favorable cost. The reason why private house owners are taking advantage is because of the deficit in housing. And so we have the rent courts. We say don't take more than 6 months of advance, rent advance. But the one who is renting and the house owner are both not prepared to go to the rent court because they are doing it quietly. It says pay 2 years rent advance. You can go and report him at the rent court and we'll hold that landlord accountable. But the one who is being asked 2 years rent advance doesn't want to go to the court. He will go and pay the landlord because he wants a place to lay his head. And so it is because we have a housing shortfall, and that is what is making them take advantage. Countries have instituted social housing policies that have been very successful. I've seen the Kenyan example, and Kenya has built hundreds of thousands of housing units, which they either rent or sell to government employees. In the past, employees have not been able to buy houses because we fix the mortgages in dollars. And because the dollar kept sliding and was not stable, then it means that if you take a mortgage, you find that eventually you are not able to pay, and then they take the unit from you. We just pray that we're able to keep the city stable. I've said that we don't want a strong city, we want a stable city. I want to know that every year the city will depreciate by 3% or 5%, 3% or 5%, so you can plan. And it will not add too much onto your mortgage bill. So now that we've been able to stabilize the city, let's work together to maintain it, because there are many benefits that all of us will get from a stable city. And so let me take housing and sanitation. Housing is a major problem. And for households, it is consuming the income of households. We need to have a national housing dialogue and decide how, between the private sector, government, and labor, we can come together and come out with a social housing policy to make sure that we provide affordable housing for workers to purchase on mortgage or to be able to rent at a favorable cost. The reason why private house owners are taking advantage is because of the deficit in housing. And so we have the rent courts. We say don't take more than 6 months of advance, rent advance. But the one who is renting and the house owner are both not prepared to go to the rent court because they are doing it quietly.
And that was His Excellency John Dramani Mahama speaking on the rent issue. And that video was from GH1. We have to give them the credit. So, yes, Peter, we heard the president, speak about, the more than 6 months rent payment to landlords being illegal. He said it's illegal, right? So I'm asking, paying, is it realistic? Paying in 6 months rent, is it realistic? Because right now, for the past 60 years, let me use your study. For the past 60 years, we've already been paying. We've made the landlords know that despite the hardship, we the tenants, we can pay more than that amount. So right now, I ask myself, is it going to be realistic now?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a law. We just have to enforce it. Enforcing it means that we have to put some structures in place. And that's what I'm saying, that the rent control should be made an independent body, so that it wouldn't be under the auspices of the Ministry of Works and Housing. That is one aspect of it. But then I like the fact that the president actually accepted the fact that this is coming as a result of the housing deficit that we have in this country. One may ask that over the years, what has government done to actually help solve these problems over the years? You know, we cannot talk about housing without talking about the Sagleme housing project, which is now abandoned somewhere, millions of cedis abandoned somewhere, taxpayers' money. We don't know what is happening currently. And so let me run you through quickly with what government has done over the years. So in 2015, the housing policy, that's the bigger picture, was introduced. And that's the National Housing Policy to recognize housing as a basic right. It focuses on affordable housing, private sector involvement, and better planning. And then the affordable housing actually started from 2011, 2015 under JDM and then the late president Atta Mills. And, you know, it couldn't help, but then not to some extent, because government built houses for low and middle income earners. Low and middle income earners. So you see that every measure government takes.
We are looking at graduates right from university and also young workers in the corporate field.
You understand? So we kind of fake those who are not part of the informal sector out, always as a way of solving the project. And that is where the Sagleme housing project actually started. There has been partnership with, the public-private partnership as well. And so Benedict in his submission was making mention of the fact that these private builders, even the amount of the land they acquire to even put the structures is, something, serious. And then over the years, government has kind of, partnered with them, give lands to, for them to build affordable housing and all that. And then there's this new one, this new affordable house initiative, which was rolled out in 2023. My Home, My Peace program. Such a beautiful name. My Home, My Peace program. Yes, 2023. Just to help, ease the housing deficit in this country. And then there's this also National Home Ownership Fund. That is the mortgage the president was talking about to support. I mean, when you just oppose, all these things with how much, ordinary public servant is, earning at the end of the month. And then you look at, the prices of these things, it doesn't actually work.
It doesn't tell you.
It doesn't tell you.
Because at the end of the day, your expenses are more than...
There's pressure. And so, going forward, I think that my solution for the short term, as we speak currently, because this one shouldn't be a week something. We talk about it for, let's say, a month and we forget about it. That is what we do in this country. An issue pop up, we make noise on it for 1 month, another one comes and we forget about it. It is high time we address the renting issue in this country. Government has done a lot, but that what they've done is not enough. Still, the housing deficit is hovering around 1.8 to 2 million. So government needs to do more. And so my short-term solution to this, I'll say that they should strengthen the enforcement of the Rent Act. Yes, it says we have the Rent Court. You have the Department of, Rent Control. And then he said something that very salient. Before you rent, go with your landlord to the rent court. Make sure you do everything there. You shouldn't exceed 6 months.
The thing is that the landlord will not even accept the 6 months.
Because the
landlord will not even accept
it.
That is because we are not holding them accountable.
We are not holding them accountable. That's the whole thing. The systems are not there. Okay, even if the systems are there, they're not enforcing it.
Yes, they are old, of course, but they are still there. Now, like I was saying, when I was renting, my landlord and I, we had an agreement. We went to court to go and draft an agreement, and then we both signed it. We both witnesses from my side and witnesses from his side. Okay. Now, what is happening is that if there is an issue where I feel like I'm being cheated out of the contract, it was easy. I had to just send him to the courts of law, and then whatever the court of law will rule, and then you realize that there will be justice. Now, in this case, if we had agreed that okay, Benedict, you're going to rent, you're paying advance 6 months, and then landlord will come one day, will be like, no, 6 months money is not enough. I want you to pay more. And then for fear that, okay, if I don't have that 6 months, the landlord will evict me out of the house, or if I'm taking him to court, he will evict me out of the house. But because we have that contract there, excuse my language, I don't care what he does, but I still care. Even though I still care. The law says that 6 months, we've had an agreement. You agree that you should pay 6 months. This is what it is. So even if you need money in advance, it is up to me. It is my discretion to give you that money in advance or not. If I don't have that money, you can't evict me out of the house. Because with our contract, I have to stay more than 6 months, maybe 2 years or more. But I'll be paying you just 6 months. So I think we just need to, the part where things needs to be documented, whether you're Labadi or wherever, don't go into an agreement by word of mouth. Or because you have witnesses around, so you want to, or because they are family or they are friends, so you are renting their spaces by word of mouth. No.
You're very right that there needs to be hold accountable. Well, now if you're going to rent, the only time they get to see that, oh yes, we've done the agreement is they'll say bring someone to as witness. Bring someone as witness and all of that. That's not like
it needs to be structured.
It needs to be documented very well.
And all that. If
it
not,
needs to be structured very well.
Because this is my house,
and
I can just wake up and I'll tell you, like you said, my daughter or my children out of the country are coming, so I want you to leave. Do you have plans to leave? Do you have a place to go and stay? Oh, but if we have a contract there that I have to stay here for 2 years or more, and in less than 1 year you're telling me this, I can choose not to go.
So we are opening the phone lines right now. You can call us on 0500500423, 0500500423. As displayed on your screen, you can share in your contributions, your comments, and what do you think governments can do, to put some of these landlords to book. But then let's come back to the courts. The court. I was very interested in the courts now because we know now as ordinary Ghanaians, even the money you're going to use to pay the rent. How much is the money? That 1 year rent, okay, 1 year in advance rent. How much money do you even have to go to court? Court money.
I mean, so
because the president spoke about the fact that the tenants don't even, go to the courts. The landlords themselves don't also want to go to the courts, but it involves, some kind of financial aspect too in it, and that's the ordinary Ghanaian. Our court systems. I don't want to say that they are not structured. Never, I cannot say that. But what I'm saying, the processes, it takes time. Sometimes you go, they say, come the next day. But you also need the room because you've been transferred somewhere. And you need accommodation to be able to, start whatever you're doing. So we have a caller on the line. Hello, Steve. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, Steve. Your name? Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Achimota.
Right. Let's hear from you.
Okay, so my issue is not about going to, but the thing is, say the landlord you are going to rent place or a house, and then you are going in for 6 months, and then already they don't want to take that 6 months. They are in for two years. And then again, you are the same person that is going to tell him to follow you to the court. You can't force the landlord to go to the court. He'll by all means tell you whether you agree to go by his 2 years or 1 year or leave the house. So that's the problem we are facing now. You can't force the landlord to move from his house, resident, wherever he is, to follow you to the court. And you can't also go to the court and bring the officials to the house.
Exactly.
So what we need is a proper structure that will be put in place for all these issues to be solved. Because right now, we as the youth, we are going through a lot because of rent. You see, so this one, the government needs to do something about it. Thank you very much. I just wanted to share my opinion over.
Thank you so
what
much,
is being
Steve.
discussed.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. It boils down to what we were just talking about, the fact that you cannot drag the landlord to the court. He's saying that pay my money, pay the 2 years advance. As Steve said, I want you to pay the 2 years advance. Are you paying it? If you're not paying it, then it means you're not ready.
No.
Move to the next person.
So
That's what Steve is saying.
the issue is we have laws in this country.
Right.
In as much as you own a house, you're the owner of the house. We are being guided by laws in this country. That's why we have the 1992 Constitution. Any other law, whatever law that is guiding any institution in this country, does not surpass or is not bigger than what is in the 1992 Constitution. Yes, we understand that that is your property. You built it with your sweat. But this is the law. The law says that you don't have to take more than 6 months in advance. This is the country you live in. You don't have any other thing. What you have to do is to succumb to it, obey the law. That is the law. And that's why the president said that we have to help by, reporting.
Right.
So what we...
Yeah, reporting. We'll come back to you, Peter, but we have another caller on the line. Hello, your name and where you're calling us from?
My name is I'm calling from Mary.
Right. Let's hear from you.
Yes, the president has spoken, but the question we should ask is, does it carry weight? Yes, what the president said, because this thing has been going on for years, like we just said. The bodies that are supposed to make sure that everything, goes up, everything goes on the right way are all toothless. The rent control. I want to give you an assignment. You go to any of rent control office and take the rent control, but I don't know their positions. It is managers that manage those offices. Take their number or make an investigation, find their house, go to them if they have a house to rent. That is, if they themselves are landlords. Go to them and ask them you want to rent one of their places, and they will tell you pay 2 years. Meanwhile, he is a law enforcer who is supposed to obey the law, but they themselves are not even obeying the law. So this doesn't carry weight. What the president has said doesn't carry weight. Because I would say it's one of those rhetorics that the president is thinking about, but there is nothing they can do about it. Nothing to do. So 2028 comes for us to go and vote. So please, just think of how God can, help you find money to pay those outrageous amount that they are demanding. Please. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
I want to.
Peter.
I want to answer.
Peter.
Let Nana.
Our caller says that what the president is saying doesn't
carry weight.
That one, I'll beg.
Yeah,
No.
I think
this is
I think
very interesting. He's saying that we should rather look for money and then pay the outrageous amounts the landlords are seeking.
Yeah.
That's
But then,
saying.
for him to say that what the president said does not carry weight, I beg to differ on that. This is the president of Ghana, the first gentleman, somebody we voted for to steer the affairs of the country. So for you to publicly say that what the president said does not carry weight, I think maybe he should have.
No, I don't think he means it in a bad way. Maybe his choice of words were wrong. He's just trying to let us understand that yes. It is actually out there.
Before we come to you, let's take this one from Gabriel. Hello, good morning.
Hello, and good morning.
How are you doing? Can we hear from you? What do you have for us this morning?
Gabriel, I'm calling from Koko. So I just turned on the channel and I wanted to share some two things.
Right.
So the issue is there is no law in Ghana. Let's all face facts. There is no law in Ghana. What our politicians do sometimes, and this is what I've noticed, what our politicians do is when they wake up early morning and they catch something on CNN or BBC, They come and they retrace it on our local channel, and then the next thing you know, it ends in Parliament. Now, we are talking about rent affordability here and mortgages. In other Western countries where the least you can pay or the maximum you can pay is a 3-month advance. You pay your first month, your last month, and a security deposit. That makes it 3 months of the same amount rent. That's what you pay before you move in. Now, when you move in,
Beg your pardon.
every month, you make sure on the 25th to the 28th, you've settled your rent, or you have an agreed date with your landlord where you always settle your rent. Now, the reason why this thing is feasible in such countries is that they have a credit system that allows someone to walk to the bank and say, I've seen a building, I want to buy it, I want to renovate it, and put it out on rent. The banks will have a very comfortable agreement with you, a very nice arrangement where whatever it is you're supposed to pay will not affect you in a certain way, especially if you have a good credit score. And then you start. Now, this is Ghana. We don't have a credit system to start with. We don't have a credit system to start with. You see a building, it's going for $100,000, $150,000. You can't even walk to the bank for a mortgage because the terms they're going to take for you on paper, you can't adhere to them. Your salary will reach that level to adhere to those kind of terms and conditions. How are you going to tell some landlord who has struggled, sweat on his own, nobody knows how he's going to build his building, and you tell him you want to pay 6 months rent, and any person says you will not agree, you want to drag him to court. Go to drag him to court. There's no law in Ghana. What the politicians do, and I'm going to tell you how I know there's no law in Ghana. When this EV racing started, when other countries started introducing this electric vehicle thing, they started doing something called some tax rebates, where you buy an electric vehicle, they give you some portion, like when it's season and you file your taxes, they give you some portion of your payment back. Right. The moment a politician had it,
Right. I think we lost track of Steve. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution. We really appreciate. But Benedict, what do you have to, any add-ons?
Yes, so I think Steve is making a very good point.
Very salient one.
But Steve is actually emotional about this topic. And then
it is.
You can tell from his voice.
Because it's a very serious issue.
Yes. You can actually drag a landlord to court, but you can't drag them to court. It's a 50-50 affair. If the landlord feels like they have a case, they will follow you. Right. If they know that they don't have a case or anything, what they do, they know themselves. If they are cheating you, they know themselves. And trust me, most of the landlords, they know the constitution.
They know that they are cheating us.
Yes, they know the acts. They know that they're not supposed to charge 6 months. I mean, what the president said, a lot of people have seen it. A lot of people have heard it. There are landlords included who have heard it. And I promise you, they will be seated, they'll be in their comfortable seat. They will see this and be like, president, 6 months. Oh, they made the court. I mean, how? And like the first caller said, the people who work at the rent control departments themselves, if you have some of them who are landlords, when you go to their houses to go and rent, they are charging more than 6 months advance. So the people who are supposed to even enforce the laws are actually breaching the laws. So what are we doing? That's what Steve said. There are no laws in this country.
Let's go to Bubuashi right now and talk to Joseph. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning to you, Joe. How are you doing?
Hello. Good morning.
Okay, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I'm Joseph speaking from Bubuashi.
Right.
Do you know the reason why now the property rate, the rent advance has gone high?
No, tell us about it.
Is that during the olden days, the property rate, they fix it. The land that they used to give us the property rate we pay. But now, any structure on the building, on the land, they value each. If you have maybe 3 or 4 rooms on the land, they value each room and they add all. And this brings us a big money which we couldn't pay. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You see, formerly, during our parent time, is the land that they used to pay the property rate. But now, any structure, if you have maybe 3 rooms, structures in the house, they value each structure. Any structure, even if you have a washroom, everything, they value it. And then they add all. So before they bring the property rate, even if it's too high, you can't pay it. And as of now, they said you should pay the tenant, you pay only 6 months. And they are bringing you a bill which is more than what's necessary to pay. That has brought the rent and money so high that people can't pay.
Right.
You see, so we are appealing to the government to see to this property rate that has raised it too high, that affects the landlord.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Joseph. And this is the grief of the landlord, I think, from his view. Now, Peter, can you speak to
Yes, so it means that from Collins, it means that the issue is more intense than we actually think. Yeah. It's not about, paying, exceeding the 6 months, but rather there are some, grassroots. We need to tackle it from the basis. It looks as though we are starting, we want to solve the issue from, the branch level, which of course is not going to help. So you see that, actually there is a law, that is the Rent Act, which actually prohibits it. It is illegal. So right now what we have to look at is the rent control department itself. Are they do they have the necessary resources to carry out their mandate? What is their mandate? Their mandate is to ensure that, landlords and tenants, coexist peacefully. Right. Now, when it comes to the court issue, I don't think that you'd have to pay. It is their mandate of the Department of Rent Control to solve dispute. So it's not like the normal court that that you have to go and pay for a lawyer. And no, it is the duty of the department to solve the issue between the tenant and the landlord. And so it's not like our normal.
All right. Thank you, Peter, for that one. I think we have another caller on the line. Let's speak and then listen to what they have for us this morning. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, I'm both from Peter.
Right.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. Please, can you know your name?
I'm both from Peter.
All right.
Yeah, if with what they're saying about 6 months, about money these days is hard to come by,
Right.
So if you have made your budget 1 year as a tenant to give to a landlord and you go to stretch out your stay, is it against the law? If you have agreed, you the tenant have agreed with the landlord, I want to pay this because my money matters. My money matters. Due to that, I want to pay this sum of my money for maybe 3 years or 2 years or a year. Is that also against the law if you have agreed with you, the tenant want to pay that? And secondly, some years back, I heard one of the rent control officers or one of the rent control workers saying on the screen that due to the cost of high materials or building materials, they want to write they want to write so that the advance will be escalated to 1 year. Some years back now ahead of that, you can inquire and ask them about that question. Is it pending or they are about to do it? Some years back, they were interviewing on the third. So this is my question that as a landlord also, if a landlord also is insisting that only 6 months he or she can stay in the house, whilst maybe the person wants to stay more than 6 months. So with that, if the 6 months expires and he insists that the person should quit, is it advisable that way too? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution. Now, Peter, let's come back to you.
Yeah, so on his first question, that if you want to pay more than the 6 months, then it's not illegal, but the agreement is that the cap is 6 months. So if you want to pay more than 6 months, you have the money, you want to pay like 1 year or 2 years, you are allowed based on agreement with the landlord. And that is where you don't have to have these agreements just in the house, like verbal agreement. That's where you have to go to the rent control department, the rent court, to have that agreement. The law says that the cap is at 6 months, but I have the money, I want to pay 1 year or 2 years. There, it is not the landlord who is forcing you, but willingly you have what it takes, you have the resources to pay more than the 6 months. For that one, it is not illegal. It is within, the law. But then he made mention of the fact that they wanted to, move it from the cap from 6 months to 1 year because of the happening in the country, the cost of building materials and all of that. I don't think they've made any progress on that. And then, like he rightly said, we will find out, and maybe our next show we'll talk about that.
You, Benedict?
Yes, I don't know if I heard him right, and I stand to be corrected, Mr. Bolt, but I think when he was speaking, he said, I don't know if he used if I heard him right, I think he said nonsense. What he said was nonsense. I think he was talking about what the president said. I really hope you didn't say that, but if you did, we first of all want to apologize to our viewers and our listeners out there. And then, Mr. Bolt, please, sometimes we need to be careful with our words and all that. Yes, we understand people are actually feeling it and all that. That is if you said it, but if you didn't, I'm also apologizing. But then he made some very good points. And he has a question that if you want to pay 6 months, okay, fine. And then the 6 months is due, and I'm not able to pay the next 6 months, and I'm evicting you as a landlord. Am I wrong to do that?
Because let's say the person has even gone to the courts, okay, made the agreement,
and then you've gotten that 6 months.
Now, the landlord not being happy about the 6 months, taking the 6 months, and the 6 months has come to an end,
and you have to pay again for. So you get it. And one thing we need to understand is that the conditions of we living in this country is part of some of the decisions we need to make as citizens. As if you want to rent a house, if you have to find money to make it an advance payment, it's actually for your own good. And a way I was trying to think about solutions to these kind of problems, and something I thought of, or something I have come up with, and I think it's feasible to me. Maybe someone else will agree to me. Is that maybe in the beginning we can do that 6 months agreement. You pay in that 6 months, and then you find money to pay for a longer term when the 6 months is either due or it's almost up to. So this time around, for the first 6 months, we do as the law is saying. I pay in 6 months just because I want a place to rent. Maybe my money is not up to. But then again, the cons I had about this decision, this idea is that what if in that 6 months you are not able to find money to pay? If you're not able to find money to pay for a longer term, what shows that in that 6 months you find money to pay for a longer term? So these kind of decisions, it's actually a problem for all of us.
It's a problem because now landlords are also complaining about, the property rights
that you were saying.
If this has come to play, then it means it goes way
deeper than
we thought.
So it means that we have to tackle the root cause. So from what he said, it means that the amount they are paying is outrageous. So they don't have any option than to transfer that amount to the tenant who comes in. But the real issue on the ground right now is the Department of Rent. Currently, as we speak, they are under Works and Housing. Now, from all indications and from the conversation we've had so far, it means that department is not really sourced. They don't have the resources. They don't even have what it takes. Because yesterday, when I was talking about the rent department, somebody jokingly told me that even they have some of their offices rent, and then they are not even following the 6 months. You understand? So to ensure that this one becomes a reality and to solve the problem, I think that it should be made an independent body with a digitalized system. One of our callers made mention of the fact that they don't even know the number of houses available. Even in terms of, government housing, they don't even know, and they can't even track. So I think it should be made an independent body with a digitalized system. It should be made an authority, well sourced with whatever they need to ensure that we're able to cap this issue in the country. But for the fact that, so they will make, like you said, they were making mention of the fact we have the law, and that is the Act, the 1963 Act 220, and it prohibits that. And then we understand that landlords go through a lot to be able to build their houses. So how should we solve this? There should be a national dialogue, a consensus. How do we solve our rent issues? Government has tried so many years, but we still have that housing deficit. Currently, as we speak, the number of people that troop into the urban areas every year is increasing.
A lot.
It means that in sharing of the national cake, we are depending on some aspect, leaving some other aspect. When you take a look at Ghana currently, most of the developmental projects and everything is here in Accra. A few at, let's say, Kumasi or the rest of the cities, we don't know. So each and to be able to build a career, everybody wants to come to Accra, and then there's pressure. Demand is high, and so not that, like Benedict rightly said, these landlords knows that it is illegal. It is a law. And so it's up to you, the tenant. So when you come and they see that you don't know your rights, you don't know what it takes, that is where, they tend to take advantage of you. But if you know what is right...
I don't think the tenants... I don't think the tenants don't know their rights, but it is what we have come to meet, okay, over the years. Someone that's been paying 2 years in advance, and you came, you want to take 6 months.
It can be changed.
It can be changed.
That is
where we have
the
to.
laws must be enforced for this to work.
Let me ask a question.
There should even be a dialogue between the landlords and then the government, the rent control. They should speak to them.
Yeah.
The stakeholders involved, the rent control department, housing, they should come together and then solve the issues. With that, the tenants will also, knowing very well that they have been spoken to when they are taking certain actions. They know that, yes, you have been told by government to do this. So if you're not doing, I'm reporting you. That is where tenants will also take the responsibility of going to report them because they know the laws are working. It's high time we start to hold some of these people accountable, especially the landlords. They should just start using people as scapegoats. That way, I feel like the laws will be enforced. Let's take this caller, then we come back to you, Benedict. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, please, your name and where you're calling us from.
I'm Rukaya, and I'm calling from Accra.
Right. Rukaya, let's hear from you.
Please, for the tenants to pay more than 6 months, I think for the tenants to pay, if they are having more than 6 months, I think they have to look for a bank to pay that money. If you pay more than that, you are tenants, about 3 tenants in a house. You are only 3 tenants, and you are the person who always like paying more than 6 months. I think the landlord or landlady will get to know the one who has been reporting to the court. The landlord or the landlord will know the person who has been reporting.
Interesting.
Who has been reporting that he's taking more than 6 months.
That's Rukaya's concern. Rukaya, thank you so much for your contribution as well. So that was Rukaya. She is concerned about the fact that she's going to report. It will put her in the hospital.
Yes.
She might be
So
told
Rukaya wants to
and
report,
this is a genuine concern.
Yes.
She's scared that when she reports,
he will put her in a hot soup.
in a hot soup. So you see, these are some of the issues that we have to look at. Yes, we are saying that it's strictly 6 months, but what happens to the ordinary Ghanaian?
So it's time for change. The change is now, and the change must begin from you and myself. We have to take the horse by the bull by the horse. You understand? The change must begin from us now. It's long overdue. we talk about it and it's lies, and that's why one of the callers said that he actually do not believe that something can. You understand? There are laws, so I keep on saying that our problem is the enforcement of the law. So as I was saying, the short-term solution to this is the enforcement of the law, and then we encourage people to report. If you don't report, those are the rent control department. If you don't come to them and say this is the situation I'm facing, they don't know. And like I said earlier, they should be resourced so that now technology is what is leading. So that whole department should be reformed, should be transformed into, an authority. It should be made an independent body so that they can actually run their activities very well, because it is a concerning issue. But you see, in this country, we are supposed to, you have to, make a step to rent when you have a constant source of,
support.
You understand? But if you want to rent without any, source of, income, that's where it becomes a problem. And so if you are employed and, at the end of the day, you take, let's say, 4K or 5K a month, you can actually meet up for the demands. 6 months, the following 6 months. So I like the caller who said that when you go outside, everything is structured. There's everything in place. So I
the
think
problem is our systems.
It is not structured at all.
So we would like to take a few comments, not to cut you, Peter. It says that this is a beautiful way to involve young people in community development instead of leaving everything to government. Good morning. Interesting discussion. My name is Yao Bedu in Alajo. I think this is for the very first discussion we had about creativity in the Ashanti region by the visual arts students. And we have another one. This shows students are not just learners in the classroom. They can actively shape society. Well done to Ashanti regional minister. This is from Kweku Dampe from Sinyani. And we also have, good morning, lovelies. This initiative should be replicated in other cities like Accra and Takoradi. Very important. And this is from Mr. Ansan in Tema. And we also have some, good morning, team. For many young people and workers, even 6 months rent is hard. So asking for 1 to 2 years upfront is simply unrealistic. But people are actually doing it anyways. This is from Takwa, Mr. Abankwa Ose is asking that for many young people, 6 months rent is even hard. So 1 to 2 years upfront is simply unrealistic. People are actually doing it, Mr. Abankwa. And rent advances are now competing with other basic needs like food, transport, and school fees. Ghana, we are the one doing ourselves. So good morning. This from Wallace from Sprinters. This rent issue.
Interesting.
I've been told that we have more callers, but please, time is not on our side. We have to. This is an interesting conversation. I think this is not interesting. This is a very serious situation that we need to talk about so that reforms would be made. Peter, can we hear your final words?
Okay, so my final words, like you rightly said, this is a serious issue and it is long overdue that we tackle this issue. And then from all indications...
Not to cut you, sorry. We have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Oh, we lost him. Peter, take us.
Yes, so from all indications and per the conversation we've had and from the callers as well, it means that there's more to this rent issue that we're actually thinking right now. And so going forward, I think that there should be a stakeholder, conversation, a national conversation about rent and to look out for the way to ease the burden on the ordinary Ghanaian. So the 6 months is to just help ease the burden on the ordinary Ghanaian so that you wouldn't be thinking much about, where to get money to pay in advance, like 2 years, 3 years. And so it was a way to help, ease the burden on the ordinary Ghanaian. But then it has tended to be a different thing just because of the housing deficit that we have in this country. And then I think that it should be tackled from the grassroots. And then the caller made mention of property rates. It means that if they are paying outrageous amounts, they don't have any other option than to transfer that amount to the tenant as well. And then we will talk about utility bills and other things. And so, it's in as much as that we are calling for landlords to take it easy on tenants, we have to address the core issue, and that is our structure. And so for me, the solution I think that is going to work for the short term, I think that we should enforce the law. The law enforcement should be something, and then we should encourage reporting, and then we should resource the Department of Rent Control to ensure that they have the adequate resources, if it is personnel, whatever thing it takes to carry out their duties very well. And then in the long term, we should build more housing, something like the Sagrame housing project. We should be doing more, and there should be partnership between the private entities as well, and then the mortgage, so that people can, own houses. Because if we don't take care and then we don't solve this issue, people are going to be perpetual borrowers. They'll borrow till that kingdom come, and this is not what we are looking forward to. We are looking forward for a better Ghana, a developing country where every citizen would get a place to sleep without any drama at all. And so going forward, I think these are some of the things we should do. And then ultimately, before I end, I think that the rent control department should be made an independent body. So it should be like a national rent authority, so that they can exercise their mandate. Because right now they are under the control of Works and Housing Department.
Thank you very much, Peter, for your contributions. Now, let's hear from Benedict. Do you have any final
Yes, so I was trying to find an article so that I can use to buttress my last point. But then I just wanted to say that the Rent Act is not being violated at the moment. It's just being bypassed, and it no longer reflects economic reality. But the issue right now is not just it doesn't have to be with greedy landlords, or just greedy landlords. It's just happening to do with enforcement. We enforcing the laws is the problem. We have the structures in place and all that, but then it has to be enforced. So I'm just encouraging our lawmakers, our fathers out there, our mothers over there at the top, who are trying to help build this country. This is another sector that needs to be looked at, just as the president rightly said. So we should just push in the facilities or the resources we need to push in. Let us enforce the laws. Let us increase the Ghana housing markets out there. I was going to ask a question on the SNIT housing scheme. Are they also paying 6 months, or they pay in advance and all that? These are questions that we need to ask, because the ones that are even structured that we know are even paying more. Meanwhile, there is a law that you need to pay 6 months, and it's a whole lot. So I think we need to, if we don't increase the supply and then the modernizing of the law, which we have, a law that has been in place since 1963, I think we are still going to be facing issues like this. So let us just, put in more than enforcing the law, create structures, open avenues, and then push in resources. And I think we'll be fine. Everything will be fine.
Thank you very much, Benedict. Now, this boils down to the fact that, housing is not luxury. Housing is not luxury. It is a basic need. And so if you don't come together, to solve these issues, the ordinary Ghanaian is still going to suffer. And this boils down to the fact that our systems are very, very problematic. So we just entreat all stakeholders involved, landlords, tenants, and every stakeholder involved in this issue should come together and come to a consensus. Thank you so much. This is the end of the news review on the show. We'll be having the conversation. We'll be back again with my team, my energetic team, to talk about how entertainment, has impacted our social life on the entertainment in our social life. So make sure you stay with us. Next is sports with Benedict in Ketia Kwating. You don't want to miss this, so make sure you are stayed tuned to the TV. We'll be back from the break.
Hello, lovely viewers. Good morning and welcome back again to the Sports Update segment. Now, of course, I am your host for today, Benedict Nketia Kwat, and you know here we bring you nothing but the best in the world of sport, and we are covering all the action, both local and international. And before I go into my stories for today, before I start, every time I need to dive into what happened during the week. What's been going on, the stories surrounding, our football, our sports and all that. And one of the things I would like to talk about is Chelsea FC. It's sad, it's heartbreaking because they lost once again to Everton, 3-0. And I can't be happy enough, although it's sad, but I can't be happy enough that it's the downfall of Chelsea. We told them they are not there yet, but then they actually were boasting they are there yet. And one of the things that pained my heart when I saw, people who claim they understand football, people who claim they know football, arguing that Estevao is better than Lamine Yamal. Right now, we are not arguing with Estevao. We will not use Lamine Yamal as a status quo for Estevao anymore. We'll give him Arayo. He should debate with Arayo because at this point, Arayo, who is a defender for Barcelona, has 3 goals, and Estevao, who is an attacker for Chelsea FC, has 2 goals. So right now, Lamine Yamal is far gone. Well, if I'm right, I'm quoting one of our fans out there. Far gone, Lamine Yamal. And then one of the things that is also trending, one of the stories that is trending has to do with yesterday the derby between Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. And as a Barcelona fan, I was actually looking for the downfall of Real Madrid. Not because I don't like them, but because of the title race that is going on. I see my colleagues out there, giving me signals and all that. But then, yes, I was looking out for the downfall of Real Madrid because for the title race, they are very close to Barcelona. And then, when you look at the table, Barcelona is 4 points ahead of Real Madrid. And then we just need this kind of wins. We need them to lose so that we can extend our lead and all that. But unfortunately, Vinicius Jr. did his thing again, and then he won the game for Real Madrid against Atletico Madrid. But that is it. Let me move on to our stories for the day, our major stories for today. So our first story has to do with GFA. GFA confirms Hearts of Oak return to Accra Sports Stadium for season running. So yes, at the beginning of the season, Hearts of Oak were able to play some of their home games at the Accra Sports Stadium, but then unfortunately they had some issues with the stadium, so they had to move to University of Ghana Stadium to continue with their home games, to continue with their home runs. They played about 7 games at the 5 games at the home stadium, that is the Accra Sports Stadium, and then they moved to the University of Ghana Stadium, where they played 7 fixtures over there too. And then now they are moving back to the Accra Sports Stadium because the stadium has been cleared for them to, come back to. And then, of course, major renovations has to also go on at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. So this is actually good news for the Accra Hearts of Oak fans out there that they are bringing back our sport, our football, far away from Legon to the heart of Accra, at the Accra Sports Stadium, Ministries Enclave, where you find the Accra Sports Stadium situated. So yes, they are bringing back our sports to us. We will be able to watch our games back again. Let's move on to our next story for today. So yes, we are speaking about the Giants of Ghana. So we're speaking about Accra Hearts of Oak. We are going to talk about Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Yes, and Kumasi Asante Kotoko is set to appoint Dr. Kwame Ba Nwako as new CEO. So we all know that Kumasi Asante Kotoko for some time now have been without a substantive CEO, and at this point, the club's affairs were managed by the management committee that was headed by Nana Apinkra Akwesi Ewua. Nana Apinkra Akwesi Ewua, with support from Kwesi Appiah and then Malik Jabir. But at this point, the club is at the verge of appointing Dr. Kwame Ba Nwako as a new chief executive officer. And I mean, you know that he's been part of the board, and then he's been helping with the affairs of Asante Kotoko for some time now. So the club is expected to appoint a new head coach too before the start of the 2026-2027 Ghana Premier League season. And then Dr. Kwame Boa, who previously served as sorry for the interruption, viewers, and like I was really saying. So Dr. Kwame Boa also served as the chairman of the club licensing committee since November 2019. He also served as a general manager sustainability at the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation. So we know that Dr. Kwame Boa is actually poised for the position. He's experienced, he has the managerial skills, and of course, he can lead the team at Asante Kotoko to the heights that we hope they can achieve. So yes, that is it for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Let's move on to our next international story. And then over the weekend, that was yesterday, there was a Carabao competition. That was a competition that is a local competition in England where Man City, Arsenal hosted Manchester City. And then, yes, at the Wembley Stadium. And at the end of the game, we had Antoine Semenyo lifting his first major trophy as Manchester City beat Arsenal in the Carabao Cup finals. Yeah, so 2 goals scored by pardon me, I've forgotten his name just now. But then, yes, of course, we had Antoine Semenyo playing, starting with the first 11, helping the team secure their first. Antoine Semenyo, of course, securing his first trophy as an international player with Manchester City and helping them lift the trophy. So Pep Guardiola's side won this season's first domestic silverware, and then they sealed the victory in the second half brace where Nico O'Reilly scored 2 goals, back to back. I think around the 60th minute and then 64th minute, or 61st and 64th minute, back to back goals scored by this young man. And Semenyo also deployed. He played a very good position in this game. He was on the right flank, and he almost came to point where he scored a goal, but unfortunately he was denied by Kepa. But then again, he played a very great role defensively against the Arsenal team. Arsenal, and then there are low blocks. They are standing off and low blocks they play. But then, of course, Pep Guardiola, with his experience, helped the team emerge winners once again from his former assistant coach, Mikel Arteta. We come back to this saying by the famous one of the famous players, where he said that Arsenal is like a Netflix show. They are always saying next season. So yes, unfortunately for the Arsenal fans out there, we know it's sad because they were hoping to win 4 trophies this season, and the first trophy is out of their hands. They are hoping to channel the energy into the Premier League and of course the Champions League and whatever they want to achieve. Then again, I want to remind them, since they are in the EPL, they can only thrive very well in the EPL, maybe against the English teams. But then when they come to Europe, just as Chelsea did, they've been exposed. Arsenal, you'll be exposed very soon. Your time will come. You'll meet the Giants, and then very soon we'll see what will happen to you. Now let's move on to our last story for today. I don't know why James is on me today when I'm talking about the English teams and then what they are doing. Of course, they are annoying. I mean, I don't know who began the argument as English teams being the best. But then again, I understand that they are just trying to hail themselves because they're not getting the hype from anywhere. They want to just accord themselves that praise. Let's move on to our last story for today. So, here we bring you nothing but the best. And then today we are going to talk about golf. So we have Matt Fitzpatrick. He's earning his redemption win at the Valspar Championship. So yes, over the weekend, Matt Fitzpatrick, his name is a bit somewhere. Fitzpatrick. Yes, he competed in the golf competition where he redeemed himself after having a major loss during the last competition that was last week, where he competed with some of his opponents, and then he was almost at the verge of winning. Unfortunately, he didn't win. So, we call it a redemption because of how he was able to come out of, he did that comeback. So, he lost in a painful fashion. He had a chance to win, but he missed a very crucial putts, and then he made mistakes in the final hole. That was in the last game they played before this competition. And then, God being so, he was actually the runner-up by just one shot. And then God being so good, with enough preparation and then enough, plans, he was able to correct his biggest weaknesses. He finished under pressure because, in the last competition, he was under a lot of pressure, and because of that, he failed woefully. But then this time around, he was able to, correct his biggest mistake. His biggest weakness was finishing under pressure. He was able to, conclude on that. And he maintained a light consistency across all 4 rounds. So during the 4 rounds, he was able to play the game. He was able to hit the golf in a very precise ways and then very calculated modes. Because when it comes to golf, you have to be very precise. You have to be very calculated. In winning this competition, it is the player with the least kicks, the least shots that will win the competition, and he was able to achieve that because of his elite consistency and of course correcting his biggest weaknesses. People often say that he won because of one shot. Yes, of course. He actually wins the headlines. He don't win tournaments with one shot. He win with 72 holes of controlled performance. So that he actually did very well. There was a lot of psychological resilience and then a lot of preparation into it. That is why we have the headlines redemption, because of coming back from a loss just a week before, and then this time around winning the Valspar Championship. So congratulations to Fitzpatrick for redeeming himself in this competition. And then that is it for the sports update segment. Kudos to, of course, my team, Barcelona, for their greater exploits. We are going into the international, break. I'm hoping that our boys out there will do better for their national teams. And of course, the Black Stars, we are preparing towards our friendlies, our international friendlies. Yesterday, they welcomed Semenyo in camp, with some cheers and some hits and all that. And we want to congratulate the Black Stars, the boys out there. We want to wish them the best. We pray that none of them gets injured. They come out very well and they'll be able to compete in the World Cup that is coming up shortly. Thank you very much, viewers, for sticking and staying with us. And this is for the sports update segment. My name, as always, Benedict Nketia, or in the local, in the Ghana month, you can call me Nana Kofi Nketia. Next is the business segment with Kojo Insia.
Hello there, good morning to you and welcome to the Business Update segment on the Koko Digest Morning Show. On this segment, we provide you with the latest in the world of business, expert analysis and market trends that will impact your business and investment decisions. I am your host, Koko Nsia. Now to our stories. The Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana has urged the government to introduce a national tomato emergency strategy after Burkina Faso banned fresh tomato exports. The chamber warned Ghana depends on Burkina Faso for about 90% of its dry season tomato supply, making the ban a serious food security threat. The situation has already caused rising prices, shortages, and income losses for traders, while increasing reliance on imported tomato price.
Demand is about 800,000 metric tons, but domestic production falls far short, leaving a significant deficit. To address the crisis, the Chamber proposed a 12-month plan aimed at achieving self-sufficiency by 2027. Key measures include expanding irrigation infrastructure, reducing post-harvest losses through improved storage and logistics, reviving and incentivizing processing factories, and supporting farmers with quality inputs and accessible credits. The plan also calls for protective trade policies and market interventions to encourage local production and processing. The Chamber emphasized urgent action is needed to stabilize prices, protect traders' incomes, ensure supply continuity, and safeguard national food security.
Away from that story, Ghana's Treasury bill auction recorded a 25% undersubscription, indicating weaker investor demand compared to the government's target. This shortfall suggests that investors were cautious, possibly due to prevailing market conditions and expectations of better returns elsewhere. Despite the reduced uptake, interest rates on the short-term securities experienced a slight increase, reflecting the government's need to attract more buyers.
In rate signals ongoing adjustments in the domestic debt market, where authorities may be balancing borrowing needs with investor appetite. Analysts often interpret such undersubscription as a sign of tightening liquidity or shifting investment preferences. Nonetheless, the government continues to rely on treasury bills as a key tool for financing its short-term obligations. The outcome highlights the delicate interplay between demand, interest rates, and overall market confidence in Ghana's financial instruments. The marginal rise in rates signals ongoing adjustments in the domestic debt market.
On to our last story, the recent Middle East crisis has prompted calls for Ghana to diversify its energy sources by investing more in renewable energy. The situation has highlighted how global energy markets are deeply interconnected, meaning disruptions in one region can quickly affect fuel prices and supply as well. Experts argue that Ghana's reliance on imported fossil fuels exposes the country to external shocks, especially during geopolitical tensions.
Though the country may not face immediate fuel shortages, fluctuations in global oil prices could significantly impact the economy and cost of living. To reduce this vulnerability, stakeholders are urging the government to accelerate the adoption of renewable energy sources such as solar and wind. Expanding local energy production would improve energy security, stabilize prices, and reduce dependence on volatile international markets. Overall, the crisis serves as a wake-up call for Ghana to strengthen its energy mix by prioritizing sustainable and locally generated power to ensure long-term resilience and economic stability.
And that's how we wrap up on the Business Update segment. Thank you for staying with us. I am Peter Koko Nsia. Up next is the Lifestyle segment with Honorable Ajibia. Please stay with us.
And so this is how MCRO decided to welcome all of you back to the Lifestyle show on the Koko Digest Morning Show. Once again, my name is Annabelle Bevan Ajabia, and today we are talking about, something very, very important, especially when it comes to entertainment and our social life as, individuals. Back then, entertainment was like a social glue, that held all of us together. Whether you are going to watch, whether you are going to the cinema to watch a movie, whether you are home together with your family, it could be even a school program or a church program. So now things have changed. Entertainment seems like more solo. It's like me rather than us together. So we are having this very important discussion on the lifestyle segment and how it has affected our social life over the years compared to now. And I'm doing this with my amazing, hosts. We are back here in the studio. Gentlemen, are you gingered for the show? Benedict,
Yes.
are you tired?
Yes, I look tired, but I'm not. It's just a topic, and then this topic I feel a bit some way because it makes me feel old.
It makes you feel old.
Yes.
Hey.
Because of the kind of movies, the things when it comes to entertainment and all. And then when you are discussing it and you realize that people don't really know the things that are going on, I just feel like, no, I'm getting old.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I think that you can get to know these things by research, or maybe probably daddy or mommy or grandpa told you. So it's not necessarily that you're old, but then maybe
It's making me feel like a baby.
It's different. It's different if your parents
like
are telling you. Yeah. It's different. But here is the case. I can talk about scenes in these movies, these shows. Okay. But I can hold these discussions with my parents. It's different if my parents are telling me. We can have a sit down and we're talking about these shows. So,
but since they have experiences, there's a way there's a part that way you've also experienced it. Because I remember back, as a child or as a kid, the only time we get to have some of this entertainment or have fun is through like school activities, maybe inter games where you get to see like your different friends from other schools. You get to do some kind of drama play. Those were times of entertainment that were bringing us together. I don't know how entertainment was like for you, Peter. How was like entertainment? How was entertainment for you?
For me, so even if I say let's travel down memory lane, I can only take 5 years ago, 5 years ago. But per the stories and research, entertainment was more communal. It brought families together. It brought communities together.
Right.
And like you rightly stated in your introduction, it wasn't personal.
Yeah.
It was togetherness. So those days, entertainment in the 80s and 90s was virtually about people coming together to watch a movie or listen to music, listen to songs, sing along and dance to the song.
I don't know if we have visuals of this particular conversation we're having so that we have them displayed whilst we look at them as we, travel memory lane together. So, Peter.
Yes, so those days in the early 80s and down to the late 90s, whenever you see people group or gathered, it's either they are listening to one of their favorite, TV, programs, or they are watching one of the beautiful, traditional movies, or better put it, a foreign movie that is making waves. Because those days, there were no, gadgets like the TV, the radio, as we have them.
You hardly even see them.
You hardly see them.
Out of like the compound houses we saw, you just see just one TV in the house. That one, the Koko one, that has like
black and white.
The
big this behind
the big black one.
Did you watch?
So I had this TV in the house. It was very cute, okay, but that was very bad because my childhood times I didn't get to see a lot of shows because our TV wasn't working back then. And then out of the whole house, like my family. We're not having like people from outside. It was family, purely family. My I even came to meet my great grandmother. She was 107 years when she died, and she was half caste. She was half caste, so you can just imagine how her skin was. She had so many stories to tell us. Unless you don't see Nana, her name is Nana, okay? You call her Nana. Yeah. So you see her, always the children are gathered. And I happen to be her first great-grandchild, okay? I'm the first great-grandchild. So I'm always with her and all of that. All the stories that she had to tell us. It's quite unfortunate that she's just no more with me again. So if I'm not watching, I didn't get a chance to, get to watch like TV, like how they are being showing us on the screen right now. You see a lot of, children come together to watch one particular.
So that's wrestling.
Yeah, that's
wrestling back in the days.
Yeah, you get to watch. I didn't get to see this. Maybe one or two instances where I had to, go to my cousin's place to go and watch. But apart from that, I didn't get. Did you experience this?
So let me. Yes.
Did you experience this?
Yes. That's why I'm saying that I am old when I think about these things.
Yeah.
So those times, those days, we come together in the evening.
But did you have a TV back then?
Yeah, we had a TV.
What about you, Peter? You had one.
I can't relate to that.
So I mean, we were fortunate back in those days, and we had a TV. But in the evening, during the work week,
the setting was very, very.
Yes, this was actually.
You will not see the TV without the how do you call it?
White,
the table. Is it the
tablecloth?
Tablecloth.
Yes,
the settings was almost the same with every household.
Every household. This is how it was back then. All of us, all the kids in the compound or even in the hood, we all gather in someone's house, regardless of other people. Mostly, some people do not have TVs, but then 2 or 3 people might have TV, but then you still find all of us, gathered in one person's house to be watching a specific program. So most of the shows that were going on, you find us doing these kind of things. And sometimes we'll be there, they'll call us, food is ready, we'll just rush all of us. So these kind of things brought about togetherness. It created the avenue for all of us to get to know ourselves. We grew up together. There are lots of, up to now, there are lots of people who are older than me, but because we're doing these kind of things those days, they still see me as their colleague. We literally grew up together.
And those times it's like you see your cousins, your elder cousins, your nieces, your nephews, like almost everyone. So it's like the kind of friendship that we have now even started from the house.
From those times.
Personally, I grew up knowing my cousins and my nieces, my nephews to be my first friends. Yeah. So it happens even through the basic education level. When you go to school, you see them again. So it's like the friendship started from house before it's even, because you see them every day, you talk to them, you eat with them, you go to school together, church, you are there and everything. But now it's different, okay? Now it's different.
Let me talk about
some of your cousins are somewhere else. You're also somewhere else. You only get to see them during, festivals, culture. That's the only time you get to see your families, your extended families. So what were some of the movies that you
older viewers, we had radio programs, we had cinema shows. So the olden days, years ago, we had programs in the cinema where we all moved to the cinema to go and watch drama.
You've been to the cinema back then?
Of course.
You didn't stay in the house and watch TV. When I would tell you that, go.
No, I've been to the cinema. I go with my father, I go with my aunties. My mom, not really a fan of it.
No, not really. But at that time, I know that it was like together. Every family.
Every family will go together. No, do you guys know of this show, Obra?
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what the show is about, but the song, okay, because songs have a way of catching your attention very fast. Yeah. So songs like
that was the soundtrack for the show. Yeah. We had Things We Do for Love. That is what grew up to be YOLO. That was Things We Do for Love. Is
you watched YOLO too, right?
Oh my goodness.
Peter.
So Things We Do for Love is what started what today we know as YOLO. It was Pusha's time. It started from there. Jackie Apia, Majid and all that. We have Taxi Driver. You guys don't know Taxi Driver. So there was.
It's like those times they were showing most of the Ghanaian, drama. It was really the movie industry.
It was very educative. Was very interesting. We had a lot to learn. We had this show, Sun City. Sun City.
It was a Ghanaian.
It was a Ghanaian show. We had
I didn't come to meet it though.
I'm sure you guys came to meet Chocho. Chocho is not really that old like that. We had Key Soap concert party where we go to the National Theatre, we had the Cultural Center, that's a concert party on our screens. We had Santo, we had Judas, we had a lot of people. We have Sagari Bibi, we have Abrobe, that is a cantata crew. We had Ablecha Juleju.
Interesting.
A lot of them.
Those times they were so engaging. Especially for the fact that even if your TV, that black and white thing that comes on, it's like in one snap, then you get pissed.
See,
and then you get pissed.
Now the younger generation now had things easy because those times, come on, I mean, you have patience. You need to have patience. When you turn on the TV and it is booty, my dear, you can be pissed off no matter what. But you need to have patience. Yes, you have the patience because you know what is coming. I mean, you enjoy what is coming. And then you stay and then it will take some time for it to boot and all that. And then you still sit down and watch. There was this show, Home Sweet Home. Do you guys watch Home Sweet Home?
Is it the one that they still repeat during Christmas or...
No, that is Home Alone. Home Sweet Home is a Ghanaian production. Okay. Junior... I've forgotten the crew, but Junior, it was fun. I wish you guys
saying that probably I came to meet the show. I came to meet them, but I was young. You
to understand what
5 years, I was 3 years, 4 years. But how do you expect people? That's like maybe the song. And there was this particular song. I don't know if you know the show or the program, but it has this song on it. We are going heaven knows.
What show? I think it's cantata. It's cantata. When you are closing.
Because I used to watch it a lot. That was the kind of song. So I knew this song back then because of how the song, how soothing it was, And
then there's one thing that we cannot leave behind with the TV station, with the posts. The posts at the antenna, the posts at the back.
You have someone. When you are speaking about the post, I'm sure you are the one who has been going to
to. But then, did you guys enjoy music?
Music.
It's big on TV3.
Yeah.
I know you guys came to meet the current part of music. Those times, Andy,
back then I used to
season 1, season 2. That was when music was music. Honestly, I watched one of their shows recently, and I was like, no, this is not a music. Because those times there was talent. We had Isaac, we had Andy, we had
so where Hakeem. Are they still in
Last time I saw Isaac. It was in the news. Something was going on. Isaac. We had Ampon. Ampon is actually a producer who took one of
Isaac Ampon?
Isaac Ampon, yeah.
The Isaac Ampon we know.
Yeah, no, he wasn't part of. He wasn't part of music, but he was part of the judges. He mentored. Yeah.
Mentor.
There was mentor. There was music. There was a lot of these shows.
Is it the Isaac Ampon, the one who played the song?
Yeah, that's him. That's it. He's also been a greater impact to the younger generations because we growing up, we got to listen to some songs. Those times, listen to a gospel musician and then their songs, very
inspiring.
inspiring.
The likes of Enesupoku.
One musician I liked so much, Nobonketia. I don't know whether because he has. You don't know Nobonketia.
Maybe I know his songs, but I don't know
Wow. But then, yeah.
I mean, like, it's all. So now, I think that, it had a way of, bringing these, movies and concert parties, had a way of impacting us. They had a way of putting us together. And one of the ways it put us together is that when families come together like this to watch, whether it's movie, listen to music, afterwards they have interactions. They talk about it, and they'll have chit-chat. And that's how, we kind of come together. That's how we bond.
Like the moral lessons.
Exactly. It was more about virtues, like the Home Sweet Home. It was more like about the virtues and vices. We talk about, typical Ghanaian settings, jealousy and all those things. And so every movie had a lesson. And so after watching, you see that those who took part will sit down and discuss. And so you see, currently, comparing the 80s and 90s to now, the architectural design has changed. Now, those days when we talk about compound house, it was about, let's say, a house with, let's say, 16 bedrooms. And then each room contains about not more than about 8 people. So when we talk about
and that was like
house,
the single room, self-contained. It has your mother, your father, your siblings, even possibly your cousins who come for vacation.
All of them.
They'll also come inside.
So imagine that a Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon, they are showing, let's say, cantata or something, and they are all coming out. It's a whole, let's say, a whole stadium, kids coming together, and even parents. And so the discussion, the aftermath of the movie, the discussion that goes on is where people tend to bond and all of that. Now, when you compare it to currently, because of technology, we have streaming platforms. You get it. We have streaming platforms. We have, like the likes of YouTube, Netflix, just at your fingertips. You can sit at the comfort of your home and watch those movies. But one of the shows that actually caught my attention that I liked so much, yesterday I was watching it on YouTube, it was a show co-hosted by David Donto. And this woman, she's currently with one of the radio stations, Naposo Hema, is it Nana Ajuaji? They co-hosted that show.
What show was that? I know David Donto.
Local.
Okay, so I'll put you, their proud sponsor was Western Union.
Agro.
Western Union money transfer. No Libby, no Labalaba. And I remember the one I watched, it was about, it was quiz. Yeah. And they asked a social teacher to sing the national anthem. It was on the verge of winning, and the national anthem, I'm sorry, he couldn't. It was
a disaster.
It was a disaster.
There was this show where, what do you know?
Yes.
One of also an intellectual competition for students. Before this national science and math quiz, this science, these competitions came up. We had What Do You Know? What Do You Know was more like testing your knowledge about what you know about the world. And we had people coming around from all over the country. We are competing to know who is the most, the smartest person, the brilliant person, or the one who knows the most about what is happening. And this was, like I was saying, during those times, these shows, it was collectively done. And so it created the room for connection to be built, for bond, that people were bonding and all that. You find out that those times, you find people from different backgrounds coming together to go and watch a specific show. I cannot go without you. I will definitely call you. Oh, let's go. And we all go together. And when we come back, most of the time, if my parents, for example, if they allow you to go and watch a show, when you come back, you have to answer questions on the show. What did you learn? What was the moral lesson? Or what happened? How was it built? Like, what do you think? This is how we also, got groomed when we're growing up.
Especially the fact that sometimes you're just at home. Immediately you get out from your house, you see your cousins playing Ampi. Oh, come and let's play. Then you just join the fun, just play together. And then I remember this experience that I don't know how people grew up, but I went to visit my auntie and my uncle somewhere in Tema, and then almost every Sunday after church they will send me to get the cassettes. Back then, I'm sure the DVD and those kind of things. The cassette, the circle one. Is it piano encore? Piano encore. Then they'll tell you to go and so if you watch this one already, go and change it and then bring it back. Then you watch the new one. I mean, those times were very interesting times because even the movie that you have watched, you get to share the moral lessons with your friends when you go to school, sometimes your sisters. Your parents even use that same movie to advise you. Do this, don't do that. And then there was another experience that when they were showing, romantic scenes back then, they'll tell you to close your eyes. I don't know if you've experienced.
They don't even have to tell you.
I don't know.
The moment you're about to, you have to close your eyes.
Close your eyes.
The funny aspect is that those days they were using wooden windows, unlike what we see the sliding glasses.
Yeah, so there was this wooden one.
With spaces.
That I think
you can watch and all that.
You endeavor to create holes so that when they are watching some movies that they don't want you to be there, you go and hide and be.
I remember.
I'm sure Nketia has been doing that.
I remember back in the days there was this show. Last time when Anaya was here, we spoke about it. Journey to the West. I remember I traveled with my brothers to our hometown. That was Latte. And then we know that, Sunday we will have to watch Journey to the West. But here's the case, this is a village. I mean, those times. So only one person has a TV.
Right.
So we had to go and tell our mother to go and speak to that person. The person was like, a true Sunday's crowd, but we didn't know that it was this person is the only person with a TV in the town. So when it's Sundays and it's time for Journey to the West, the whole town comes there.
Right.
We have relaxed.
That even leads us to our next question. Do you think entertainment back then, forced people to connect in a way? Because I feel like those times you had no choice.
It did.
Who need choice? Yeah.
It did.
Who grandmother ti honum? Who great grandmother ti honum? Who aunties no mo be for or mo ti honum? Who papa so wa fe ejuma ba? Hey, my tree is back. Please pardon me. your dad has come back from work, and I mean everyone is there, and you expect that there's no connection. We had no choice.
There is.
Unlike now that there's technology, okay?
You just watch on
people
your phone.
People even have their
room.
separate rooms. Can you imagine? People even have their separate rooms. Back then, everybody is in one single room. So you cannot go a day without, communicating with others.
With someone.
Because
so like I was saying, when it was time for the movie, and we had realized, because we thought we had gotten exclusive access to go and watch TV. But when we got there, the number of people in that room and behind the windows, lucky enough, we had to know we were very small, so we had to join, and then it's the way we are seated. Someone will be on the floor and another person will be inside the person. We'll be like 4 people built up. We built up towers as human beings and all that, and it was fun. Because whenever we are watching, someone will support this person, someone will support this person. We'll be talking amongst ourselves, and then I got to know people in the town I hadn't even met, and I had been there for almost a week. I didn't even know them, but at the end of that show, I got to meet people. So this brought about togetherness, like we're talking about. You get to know people, you get to know what they do, and after that, we bonded. We made a lot of friends. Unlike now, someone be in their room, we watching a movie.
Even you are talking to somebody and the person cannot even let go of their phones for the next 5 minutes.
It's sad.
You realize that it won't happen. It won't happen. Sometimes you even see a video somewhere. No, the person has already seen the video, but you are trying to say that, this is something I've seen. Like, let's share the thoughts. But the person will say, I've seen it already. So making you feel, next time when you see the video, do you think you
are the ideas for us to
No.
discuss what we have seen?
You will not. So it's kind of bringing challenges, especially when it comes to our social life. So yeah, my producers are pressuring me to end the show. Pressuring me to end the show. Peter, they're going to come for my head. We would like to take some birthday wishes as we bring everything to an end. So please, let's have the birthday celebrants displayed so we get to celebrate them. I'm sure next time, Peter, we'll have a part 2 of this particular one. So Peter can give us more insights. Peter, so cook yourself well.
I'm disappointed.
Was your birthday? I heard today was your birthday.
So we have to have the birthday segment displayed so we can have a look. Okay, so this one is from Godfred and says that happy birthday, Mom. Thanks for always having my back, no matter what. Your guidance has shaped who I am, and I'm grateful for every lesson. This is from Godfred. Happy birthday to you, Mommy, from Clock TV. And this is from me to Mina. May this new season open doors to greater heights for you. You hold such a special place in my heart. Cheers to many more years. Happy birthday to you, Mina. And this is from me to Eva Krantima. Happy birthday, Eva. May this new year bring you all the love, happiness, and blessings you deserve, sweethearts. And this is from Young Workers Union. A happy birthday to Comrade Charlene Vimbai Mogabasidi of Democratic Nursing Organization DENOSA of South Africa, also a titular for the young workers in Africa and Arab countries. We celebrate you and all that you do for us. We pray for God's continuous blessings and favor in your life. Happy birthday to you, Shailene. And this is from me to Esther Esiedua. Happy birthday, Esther. Wishing you a day filled with joy, love, and all the good things you deserve. May this new year bring you success, happiness, and bigger opportunities. Keep being amazing. And this is from your beloved sons and Jewel and Eric. We love you and cherish you so much. Father of all, may God richly bless you for your love, care, and kindness. Our pillar, our mentor. We love you, Daddy. May God continue to bless you for us with good health and prosperity. This is from your sons, Joel and Eric. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Chinri. And this has been the Lifestyle segment on the Koko Digest Morning Show. And I did this with Benedict in Ketia Kwatin. I think Benedict has something to say.
So my brother celebrated his birthday yesterday. So Sylvester Kwatin, I want to wish you a happy birthday. May God bless you. May God elevate you. And all the things you are doing, may you prosper in all the things you do. We bless God for your life and we hope that you become the man that God has ordained you to be. In Jesus' name.
Amen, amen, amen. So this is how we wrap up for the Koko Digest Morning Show today. I did this with Peter Nsia and Benedict Nketia Kwatin. Once again, my name is Annabelle Bevan Ejebia. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.